Do 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 do. Future days and me.
Ooh, let's do it.
Check my snare. Check my snare. If I were to ever lose you.
I should have.
I can't even keep it straight. This is the wrong tune and everything.
You should have. They should have hired you. Holy fuck.
But yo, what it do? GG Nation, GG Legion, it's your fella again, Straussman, the GG. Welcome to another live stream. We got Last of Us Part 2 Spoilercast. I just want to say shout out to everybody. Effing killing it last night on NHL. Yeah, we had quite a few people out last night. It was a fun time. Shout out to Elo and Lou. We won 2 tourneys or 3 tourneys. We did really, really well. We had a lot of fun with everybody. I don't know why I'm still holding the guitar. It feels comfortable. Feels like I can play this. I can play some Pearl Jam. Boom, boom, boom. But appreciate everybody killing it. I did turn on music last night, and you guys had fun with the song request. You were killing it. We're having a good time. I risked it for the biscuit a little bit because of all the bullshit that's going on Twitch, but hey, we had a great time. It was fun. Fun, awesome. There'll be no Twitch stream tonight. This is a spoiler cast. We're going to dive in the nitty gritty. I highly suggest you go play this game. Don't watch a stream. Don't listen to us bullshit about it here for the next hour and a half. Go play it. I think it's worth the experience, even though I did not love the story. Be mindful and be respectful of our opinions on it. We're not here to debate anybody. We're here just to have an open discussion and have fun. Both sides of the coin are treating each other like shit, and I understand it. I get it. I see where both sides are coming from. I'm right in the middle of it. And that's where I kind of lie in this game, is right in the middle. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. And we're gonna dive deep into it. We'll give off our overall impressions of it, and then we'll dive in the nitty gritty. Again, be cool, be civil. I want to hear your guys and gals' opinions on it. Smash the hell out of that like button. That's how YouTube algorithm works. Hopefully this is not the most disliked video on this channel. I know it's a touchy subject for everybody right now. And I get it. I understand it. And we're going to dive into it. But let's just have some fun today. And I hope JJ really loved and enjoyed this game. I hope he's not white knighting it or trying to be a knight for justice here. I hope he really did enjoy it. We're going to have some fun. I think I want to make this bet, though. I think in a couple months he'll change his tune a little bit. I think a lot of people will meet in the middle towards the end of this, mostly. I think, obviously there's hardcore stay this side, hardcore stay that side. I get it. Understand it. We'll talk about that. I'll go over a little bit of the controversy. We won't talk too much about it because that's not about us. We didn't look at the leaks and spoilers or anything. We're just here to talk about our opinions of the game. Please be respectful of it again as well. Make sure I titled the video right. I know I've been going along, but hey, let's get into the nitty-gritty. I got my beautiful cousin, the White Assassin, JJ. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Just woke up from a nap. But I'm doing good. I'm doing real good.
The more and more I watch Workaholics, the more and more I realize it's us. It's the sketch comedy show we would write, except minus the stoner shit, probably. But super funny. Yeah. It's like the stoner version of The Office, really. But let's start off with our overall thoughts of the game. I'm going to start off. I'm going to be rude here. I'm going to start off.
Yep. No, go for it.
I'm going to start off with my overall thoughts, non-spoilers, before we dive into the nitty-gritty. Again, go play this game. Be the judge for yourself. Metacritic score wise or user score wise. In the end, that doesn't mean shit. It's your opinion that matters. Go be the judge for yourself. Go make that line. And I understand. Not everybody, a lot of people saw the leaks and hated Like I feel so bad for Naughty Dog and Neil. They had to suffer for 2.5 months with fucking death threats down their door. But my overall thoughts of the game is I'm hella impressed by Naughty Dog's quality, and I shouldn't be because every game the quality of the game just goes up. Gameplay, graphics, the scenery, the lighting, the music, the gameplay. Did I already say gameplay? I already said game, but the gameplay, the accessibility features, and I feel like a lot of people are not talking about the accessibility features. JJ and many of you and I take it for granted because we have pretty good vision and our hands are okay and stuff like that. But to have such accessibility features to the point where if the game's too tough for you, you can even make it when you're prone, you can go invisible, which is pretty interesting. Very Metal Gear of them. Just to get people in and get people to play. All those are through the fucking roof. Also, I want to point out, I will not be rating this game. This is the first time on the podcast. What? What's up, LG? How you doing? This is the first time on the podcast that I will not be rating the game. I don't know what I have in my head for it. I value story the most. Everything else, gameplay, graphics, scenery, acting, through the roof. Accessibility, through the roof. But the story for me is very lackluster. Anywhere from a 5 to 7 on it sometimes. I value story. I weight that the most. But is that really fair to give this game such a bad rating? And I'm not going to do that. I don't know. I just don't know what to rate it or quantify it on the channel. It's the first time I've ever kind of felt like this in a long time, especially about Sony exclusive. They've been kind of knocking it out of the park lately. I mean, they've been taking a lot of chances, and I commend Neil Druckmann. He was ballsy as shit. He took a lot of chances in this game. I don't think they necessarily paid off, but it is hella impressive. I don't think I would have the guts to do it. I'd probably tell a more simple story, take the easier route than he did, but I commend him about that. And I commend Sony for giving him the full leeway, and I don't want anybody to be handcuffed by creativity or anything, kind of like some of the Microsoft studios are, 343 and the Coalition, where they're stuck doing Halo and Gears, probably stuff they don't want to do, right? But I commend Sony. They take a lot of chances. Naughty Dog took a lot of chances with this game. But for me, there's some great story moments. There's some great Uncharted 4-like moments in this game. Hella impressive. But again, the story falls a little short for me. Before we dive into spoilers, I want to get my cousin's overall thoughts. And go ahead, give your rating as well, JJ. Are you still at a 9.5?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I think a lot of people's problem with the story isn't the story they wanted. It's a great story. It's just not what people wanted. And I get it. I get why people feel the way they do.
What's up, Don? I don't think this is the left-handed guitar. I just think it's how the Discord looks. Everything reflected.
You look right. Yeah. I think you're right-handed to me. But I've been reading a lot of comments lately. I didn't know.
Go ahead and repeat what you said. I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, I think the biggest problem with the story for most people is it wasn't what they wanted. Mm-hmm. And that's why everyone's up in arms. It's actually a really great story. It's just not the story people wanted from this game. Mm-hmm. And I get it 100%. I've been reading the comments on both sides, like you said. Like, I love the game. Absolutely love this game. And it's weird to see the people that absolutely love this game attacking people too. It's like, as long as, I guess as a 32-year-old man, I'm at the point where if you've played the game like you did and didn't like it, we're not going to argue. I'm not going to argue with you because...
Yeah, this is not a debate. This is an open...
No. I'm
not trying to sway anybody's opinion here. I just want to have a...
No.
I'm interested to see why you really love this game, because it just did not resonate with me like the first game.
Yeah, I loved...
Don't dive in nitty-gritty yet.
No. You know what they wanted you to do. They know how you wanted to do the feel, and they still got me. Mm-hmm. I never openly wept like I did in the first game with Sarah dying. Spoiler for the first game, but...
oh my god, you monster.
It's only been out for 7 years.
Yeah, 7+ years, right?
Yeah, but I felt all the feels. I just don't know if I felt them when they wanted me to feel them.
Yeah.
But to me, it hit. It is a. If you've ever had a family, to me, this game is about 100% addiction. This is an addiction game.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
It's so if you ever had I don't have too much of that in my family, not on the far end of it. So
just in the comment section, you do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So there's themes in this game that I get why people are mad at it, but I truly loved it. I love the like you said, gameplay. It's the best Naughty Dog game. Mm-hmm. Graphically, it's the best Naughty Dog game.
In a lot of ways, this feels like a PS5 game. I was blown away.
Yeah.
And I also felt like my PS4 was going to explode at sometimes, too.
Sometimes, yeah. There's some things that... I would like to see this game on the PS5, the load times when you first boot into the game.
Yeah, it does take a minute. That's true, yeah.
It does take, once you're in, though, if you quit and get back into level, it still takes a while. So yeah. I'd like to see...
The interesting part about that, too, is when you die, it's immediate.
Yeah, you're right back in the game.
You're right back in it. When I would look at my phone a few times, and I'm like, oh, shit, I'm back already.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
But to actually load into a level was quite it. So, yeah, I think we're all ready for the PS5. This game, to me, is... Yeah, I'm at 9.5. I really enjoyed it. Enjoy is a tough word. It's a brutal game.
Yeah, it is.
It's a brutal.
You do some shit in this game.
Yeah, it's a brutal, uncomfortable game, but it was. I don't know if fun's the word I would use, but I enjoyed the story.
Future days and me.
There are sweet, touching moments like that. Yeah,
there is. There's some really great moments to this game. So, go play it yourself. Go check it out. We're gonna dive in nitty gritty. Spoilers alert. Spoiler alert. Alert. It's easy to say this is the most controversial game of 2020. The most controversial game of 2019 a few months ago was Pokemon Sword and Shield. Had a huge split down the middle with the fandom, but overall, obviously that game sold a shit ton. It didn't matter. This game sold a shit. Go ahead. What happened?
So did this game.
Yeah, this game broke their first-party record. It beat Spider-Man, sold 4 million. A lot of that, though, context-wise, is obviously because of the hype of the first game. There's a lot of people that are not like us. They're not into watching E3, Twitter, anything like that. They do their 9 to 5. They talk to their local said place guy. They get their pre-order, and that's it. They get their pre-order, that's it. They work really hard. They have a family. They have little game time. They may buy 2 or 3 games a year. And for a lot of people, the first game was their favorite of all time, which is a big, big thing. And I'm happy I replayed it after 7 years. I played it on PS3 when it first came out, June 2013. Beat it. After 7 years, I played it and beat it 4 days before Part 2 came out with Left Behind. I did both. And all those feelings I still had of that first game after 7 years. Because I wanted to see if I still felt the same way. Because a lot of people didn't like the game, even though it won over 200 plus Game of the Year awards. It says right on here. Didn't love the first game. Said it was too linear, too jank. Didn't like the gameplay. Story was very tropey, zombie-like. And all of those are kind of true. I mean, a lot of people don't play Naughty Dog games for gameplay. They play it for the story. The story is the best part for most people. And again, I think Part 2 you really need to play this game to kind of be the judge, at least in my opinion. I mean, we got a lot of friends that are on either side of it. They aren't going to budge. They're going to move. I hella respect people, and I feel bad. I feel a lot bad for a lot of people that really expected to be, or outside the loop and expected to be Joel. And I'm not going to completely sit here and defend Naughty Dog on all their trailers and stuff. I sent JJ a video yesterday, and there was a lot of misdirection, which is a big movie thing. where for example, Avengers Infinity War, Hulk was in one of the trailers in the Wakanda battle, and they do that in a lot of movies, and in the final movie, they do that to protect the story. Naughty Dog went great lengths to protect the story. I don't think they were trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but it's tough when you see that scene and it's Joel's like, you think I'll let you do this alone? And then you play the game, and 2 hours in, he's gone. Like, it's a tough pill to swallow. He's one of the most lovable, iconic Naughty Dog characters of all time, whether you agree with his choices.
Lovable is a tough word. He is an iconic character. Lovable is.
Well, he is. Like, by this hostile reaction, you could tell people really loved him. And after not looking at the spoilers, sorry, I'll let you talk in a second. My bad. After watching the last few days, because it's been like a week and a half since I beat it, platinum it. I did 1.5 playthroughs of this game. Because you gotta get all the way back to Abby's part. I said the A word. I said the A word. She's only 3 times bigger than the Hulk, guys, okay? Just calm down, all right? We're not body shaming here. It's just a joke. But with Naughty, I lost my train of thought because I said that joke. But
you're talking about Joel.
Joel, like, he, for a lot of people's, reactions, I've watched a lot of people's reactions, and that scene, people, like, really, even people that love this game, hate that scene. Sorry, I'm playing strings. Hate that scene, and they hate Abby as well. So people that really love it, that gave it a 9 and 9.5 like you, JJ, I've seen a lot on Facebook, still hate that particular character, and also hate his death. But to be honest with you, we already know that was going to go down. That was the worst kept secret in Naughty Dog history. When part 2 was announced, baby, I already knew that he was going to die. I don't think people thought it was going to be this way. And it's gut-wrenching, and it's supposed to be. It's supposed to hurt you, man. It's not supposed to be... you're not supposed to I love this. And I was smiling the whole time, like, holy shit, are they going to do it? Oh shit, they're doing it! They're doing it! They're doing it! But I want to hear your opinion. You say you don't resonate with Joel, and you don't love Joel, and you think he's kind of the worst person, right?
They're all terrible people, though. They're all murderers. They're all killers. No one in this world is good. Yeah. So to me...
Yeah, go ahead.
To me, Joel was never like I mean... in the first game, the only good thing he did was save Ellie, and that's not even a good thing.
Yeah.
That's good for you as a player in your world, because you wanted to save Ellie.
Yeah.
But in the entirety of this world, that was terrible. And they killed the only doctor that knew how to do it. That was not good.
That was such an interesting talking point, because you're the only person that texted me, and you're like, did you like murder? Spoilers for one. Yeah. Spoilers for one. Signed by Troy Baker right here. Missing another signature on the front here. Ashley Johnson, come down to Florida, homegirl.
Did you know she was in growing pains?
Huh?
Did you know she was in growing pains?
No, I did not. I didn't know where she was from at all, to be honest with you.
She's the little sister in growing pains. I just watched a video today. That's
I got you curious, LG. It's the first game is fascinating. It's in my personal opinion is a masterpiece of pacing and story. Like, the reason why is these two characters on the front cover are special. And that's why people resonate with these two characters, is because they make the game. It's not the gameplay. It's not the graphics. It's not how the game works. It's because of Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson give it their all. And they do the same thing here. Everybody does. Everybody does a great job acting in part 2. And I get what you're saying about Joel, but to me, I don't think... even Neil said this in 2013 in a pod with him and Bruce Straley and Colin Moriarty from Kinda Funny at the time, and Greg Miller. They were on a pod, and I watched it because I was like, this game's really good. So these are the two directors. I want to see what they thought about making this game. And they said their decision at the end was Neil Druckmann said straight up 100% if that was his daughter, he's doing it. He don't care. Like, it's you're going to do that decision. It's not about right or wrong. JJ's right. To me, there's no right or wrong in this world. It's a moral gray thing. As humans that live in, I know we're having a tough time right now in 2020, but there's a lot of crazy shit going on in 2020. 2020 has been hell of a year. It is interesting how people, as normal people, we want to quantify things and be like, what's good or right. And for me, in part one, and I did it again, 100%. Like, and JJ, when he texted me, like, did you do? And I'm like, yeah, I did. And he's like, well, I did. They were just doing their job. And I was like, that is such an interesting to look at it. But when I did it again, I shot that motherfucker in the face.
I mean, it's an interesting decision they don't give you. You do it, no matter what you do, you're going to kill that doctor.
And also, I don't want to be... Naughty Dog's incredible. They do their research and stuff. And this is a video game, so there could be a vaccine and stuff. But if you look up a fungal infection in a dictionary or in a YouTube channel and everything like that, there is no vaccine. There is no cure. It is not a virus. A fungal infection is a different breed of monster. And that's why this game is so unique as a zombie game, a horror game, to have this fungus eat away at your face and turn you into this abomination. And there's a lot of great horror moments in part 2. But for me, that whole thing, I think they harped on it way too much with Ellie. And we'll talk about deeper, but let's just talk about Joel's death, your instant gut reaction to it, JJ.
I think it was shot well. I think it was shot well, showing you from Ellie's point of view. So what everyone felt right away, hating that character, you're supposed to.
Yes,
that's 100%. How you're supposed to feel about Abby. No one likes Abby. No one should like Abby, especially because the camera pans from Ellie's point of view.
It does. It does. Uncle.
It is.
It does have sex scenes in it.
Yeah. Yeah. 1.5, I would say.
They're very quick. They're like 20 seconds in total combined.
Well, the one was more over the close stuff. The other one was full on.
Yeah.
But
that would have been so funny if my parents walked in that scene. Why are those two dudes doing it? Oh,
I had to pause the game and pick my kids up. It was a brutal death. Yeah. I think what I like about this game is it shows you, as a player, you don't ever consider that there's a world outside of you. Mm-hmm. I never really thought about that playing video games. Any video game I ever played, it's about my story, what I'm doing. What you do to other characters, I never really thought about how that affects other characters, which is an interesting take. I hated Abby right away. I didn't cry though. Like I said, Joel just wasn't. I always thought he was a piece of shit, but so was David, so was Ellie, so was everyone. Ellie was actually Ellie was my favorite character in the first one, so I was excited to play as her in this one.
Why do you feel that way though, man? Like nobody, like a lot of people really love Joel. Like they don't quantify it as that. Why did you really hate the world hardened after playing the first game? I think you're missing some of the mystique of the first game. When his daughter dies, and it zooms in 20 years later. Like he's old, he's getting older. He's hardened as shit. And I remember this particular scene with Tommy, where he finally goes to see his brother again, and he's gonna pawn off Ellie, and he sheds a tear, wipes it away, because he's not gonna finish his job, A, and B, he's hurt because he really does like Ellie at the end.
Yeah.
But what made that scene so interesting was not that part, is when Tommy tries to give him the photo of Sarah, and he's like, "Nah, man, you keep it. I don't need." And then Ellie runs off. They have that big argument, and she's like, "I know about Sarah. I'm not Sarah." And she's like, he goes, "You're walking on thin ice, Missy. You're not my fucking daughter." And they have that fucking brutal scene, and it's like they both like rip each other's heart out. But then at the end, he's like, "Hop on. I'm gonna go take her. I'm gonna finish my job."
It's terrific.
Yeah.
The whole game is terrific. I don't hate Joel. I just in this world, because like you said, he is hardened. He's not hard. He's hardened. And it was having a daughter. I felt all those feels, man.
Mm-hmm.
I still openly cry when Sarah dies, and I knew that character for what?
Yeah, I was
30
just saying,
minutes?
I don't have that feeling of Joel. I don't think Joel's a bad person.
I know he's a bad person. I know Tommy's a bad person. I know Maria's a bad person.
Yeah, they did a lot of shit, for sure. Yeah,
but so is everyone else. So that's what I'm saying. This is a world full of, and he's one of the better ones in a world full of bad people. I get that.
Yeah.
But his character never resonated. I was so excited when you got to play as Ellie in that game. That section of the game where you get to play as Ellie. And I always thought her character was more interesting. Joel kind of seems like I've played characters like Joel in video games before. He was a buffer Nathan Drake to me. He was he wasn't a character that, or not even Nathan Drake. Nathan Drake is more comedic. He's Batman. If you ever play Batman, he's solemn and he doesn't talk much and he's always short answers and being a dick.
Old country man.
Yeah, old and crotchety, and I've played that character in games before. So playing, as a little, was she 14 in that game?
Yeah, she's young in that game. And she was born in that world, too. Protection is
they don't know it.
Now. And she's kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. She's a lot of the fun, the dad jokes, stuff like that. And I think that's another problem with this game is they just completely destroyed it. But go ahead. Continue with what you were talking about.
So when Joel dies, it hurt because to me it hurt Ellie.
Yeah.
And that's what I was feeling because she, just screaming, going from, get up Joel, get the fuck up, to, openly telling she's going to kill everyone in that room.
Yeah.
That's what got me. But like you said, I kind of figured Joel was going to die anyway to move the story along. But that was in a world of brutal deaths. You don't see one like that too often.
Yeah,
and for them to just
the interesting part about it too, and I can see why people don't love Abby and Resident. Like you said, that's the intent. But Joel saved her life. Joel saves her fucking life, and she just quickly. It's like a flip of the switch. Just boop.
Yep.
As soon as they find out who he is, fuck you. And then a lot of people also have this thing of Joel and Tommy are idiots. They would never do... In real life, they would never do that. They were hardened. They were hunters back in the day. But for 5 years, they've been living peacefully in Jackson.
I'm glad you made this point.
They're older. They've been trading with people constantly. My take on it was brutal. I don't hate it. I don't hate the scene. It actually made me have more motivation if that was Dina, because a lot of the trailers make it seem like Dina's gonna die right on. This is gonna be a story of revenge for her girlfriend, and it wouldn't have resonated with me as much if it was Dina. So doing
it wouldn't have worked with a new character, I don't think.
Yeah,
somebody you don't really know.
I don't necessarily think they did him dirty. A lot of our friends think they kind of treated him like the dog from John Wick a lot, and it kind of is. You're gonna get revenge for your puppy dog. That's kind of what John Wick's about. Spoilers for all the John Wick series there. Joel was smarter than that. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Joel.
But
other Joel.
We just talked about it though.
Yeah.
Ellie softened him in the first game. If he was so hard and didn't get softened, he would have never saved her.
He's a big old dog in this game, and he's a very soft man in this game, for sure. I probably wouldn't have done it, to be honest with you. I got another way I would. In a lot of ways, this feels like part 3 to me. It doesn't feel like part 2, and I'll explain myself later. But again, I don't hate it. It made me really fucking hate Abby, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill every fucking one of you. Yes. But then there's the issue that they rev you up like that, because the story it's two sides of every story, right? Two sides of every story, and to rev you all the way up. And to be fair, I thought this game was too fucking long in some moments. I was like,
oh yeah, they could have cut a good 2 to 4 hours from it, and it still would have made sense.
Yeah, I mean, for Ellie to get all of that all the way and murder all those fucking people, and I was hoping you get to do a little bit more. It sounds sick of me. I wish they would show. They didn't back up of the Nora fight like they did, where they kind of pull away. I wanted to see a little bit because she's trying to be Joel a little bit, and you can tell it's her. It's killing her, and she can't do it. Like it hurts her. Like I get this story. I understand what they're trying to say to me, but I think it's just kind of baffling. They try to go this route, in my personal opinion, and I'll explain more down the line. But I wanted to see more brutal scenes a little bit, and like at the end of the day, Abby and Ellie. This is why I say it's a mirror reflection of each other, because instead of heads and tails, you find out this story is really heads, or you could say it's really tails, whatever you want to say. It's the same side of the coin. Ellie and Abby are the same fucking person. At the end of the day, they throw everything away. They love their father so much. They go on this revenge tour. They lose both their lovers in different ways, drastic fucking ways, and then it all goes for naught. Abby loses her body, and we'll talk about the ending in a little bit later. It is just, you love this game, Savage? The animals look real. Shout out to Savage. Good to see everybody hanging out.
Animals looking real is not good. That was the most uncomfortable part for me. Was just
killing the dogs. I had no issue murdering all those.
Killing dogs repeatedly in the most brutal ways possible.
It's really interesting. Just the way they went about this, and I'll explain what I would do. I'm not like a genius or anything, but they really did have my favorite moments were the flashbacks with
those are great.
Those every single one of those killed it. There's one point of it I don't like. And I think Ellie's kind of dumb for it in a lot of ways, but I kind of get it as well. But we'll talk about that. I'll explain myself in a second here. Let's talk about another key story moment for me, anyway. I don't know if it was for anybody else, because no one. The actress is not getting enough love for Dina, and I agree. They don't really flesh Dina out enough. I like her though. I think Ellie's side of people, Tommy, Jesse, and Dina, they're fleshed out a lot more than Mel, Manny,
extra season.
Jordan.
Everyone but Owen.
Owen's really fleshed out because that's her.
The only one they only really truly, because her and Manny are roommates, so they kind of do. I guess in this situation, I think that's my biggest knock on this game is they didn't flesh out Dina enough. They didn't give me. They did. I mean, there are a lot of scenes of just Ellie and Dina, but to truly, for a whole game, you're Joel and Millie, and you develop that relationship.
Am I a hater about this game, Savage? Love you too, Savage.
I hate that word, hater. Being critical of something.
People are we live in a sensitive time, JJ. It's all right.
No, hater's dumb. If you can't be critical of something that, like I said, Levi played it. Every right to be critical.
Let's talk about Dina's pregnancy, because that was big for me. I was like, holy shit, because I thought she was bitten at first. I thought when she was growing up and getting sick, I was like, oh my god, she's a clicker. She's a clicker. I'm gonna have to shoot her in the face. And ends up she's pregnant, which is a big twist. If you guys don't know, Dina and Ellie are lovers in this game, but she was dating Jesse. Glenn. That's a Walking Dead joke, because he does look like Glenn for Walking Dead.
Who did he remind me of? The guy from Ninja Turtles, the pizza guy.
Oh, yeah. But I watched quite a few seasons of Walking Dead, and he looked exactly like Glenn. And it was funny that it's really interesting that they did that. Like, oh my god, and Ellie hates it. She's super pissed off and bummed about it. Like, she's like, what the fuck, man? Like, we're in love, right? And
I didn't get that from it.
Yeah. Well, she goes away. She yells at Dina and says,
For coming while she's pregnant, knowing she's pregnant. I think that's what I took away from it. She was pissed that you can lose this thing. I don't think she was upset she was pregnant. That's how I took away. I thought she was like, what are you doing here?
It could be both, but I took away that she was a little hurt because she loves Dina, for sure. And it is hella dangerous, for sure. She came all the way out of here.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Like, what the fuck? But it was a shock moment for me because I was like, oh, okay, she doesn't like the horse dying. And then I'm like, wait, she might be bit. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, she's fucking preggers. Like, it's crazy. What'd you think of it overall?
That was definitely a twist, and I was kind of, I took it as, Ellie's pissed. Now she feels like she has to go back.
Yeah.
Take her back. So it's ruining the whole mission because she's an addict. She has to get this revenge. She's willing to throw everything away. I mean, she even keeps Dina out there, even when Jesse comes and just like talking to her about it. But I thought that was a good twist. I thought it complicated everything that you're trying to do. Now you don't have, because for Last of Us, I don't remember with Uncharted, but Last of Us always has a NPC with you. You always have, in almost every scene, you always have someone tagging along with you. For every character, it's crazy.
Yeah, and there's a lot in this game. There's a lot of different...
Yeah, you always have someone tagging along. But I like the pregnancy thing. I thought they did a good job. It definitely ends up at the end being an eye for an eye kind of thing, or almost becomes an eye for an eye.
I don't know how she survived. There's no fucking way, but yeah.
I don't know either.
We'll talk about that scene in a second.
No, yeah.
The next moment is that Abby and the Wolf, most of the Wolf militia, are former Fireflies.
Well, her section, yeah.
Go ahead. What happened?
Her section of the
her group, her eight,
group,
whatever, her 8 to 10 people are Fireflies, and which is the enemy faction in 1. What'd you say, JJ? Go ahead.
That they were the ones stationed at the hospital in part 1.
Yes, in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah.
So you see that in the flashback.
Yeah.
Very interesting. It kind of makes sense, for her standpoint. Like, again, I think Abby is justified in everything she does in this game. But it's just still kind of baffling to me, and we'll talk about the next key moment. What'd you think of Abby being a Firefly, though? That group, it makes sense to you?
Yeah, it was. Probably one of my favorite parts of the game was finding out her backstory. Because I didn't play the first game right away. I played the remaster one in like 2017.
Yeah, you played a couple years ago, I think, right?
Yeah, 2017 I think it was. And to tie both games in, where this isn't, I wouldn't say this is a sequel. This is continuation of the story.
Well, yeah, it's called Part 2. It's not called Last of Us 2. It's called Last of Us Part 2.
So I love that they had to have tied it in for anybody to even like the character eventually. They had to have tied it in some way, shape, or form. Because you have to justify why she kills Joel. I mean, that's pretty much, from that point on, that's why you're playing the game. Because at first, you're pissed, and you're wondering why. Why the fuck? She just got saved by Joel and Tommy. As soon as they say their names, she starts beating the fuck out of him, shoots him in the knee. So
that was brutal. The shotgun.
Yeah.
I've had 3 knee surgery, so that shit hanging by a thread was ugly, bro. And they show it well too. Like they show all of it. That scene was gruesome for sure.
So me and Seth said, we're just why? Why?
Yeah. Especially Joel saved her life.
Yeah. So that was you're mad and questioning things. So I like the tie-in. Are we going to the part where her first flashback? Is that what we're talking about right now?
I want to get there. I just want to talk about.
Okay. Yeah. No. I like the tie-in. But it had to be. She had to be associated with Joel somehow.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense that she was a Firefly and her actions and stuff like that. I get it. But this is the interesting part. I think they could have did it a little bit better because to wind you up, and this game does this a lot. They wind you up, and then they pause, and then they flip the coin. Mm-hmm. They flip the coin, and I think it's intentional when you start playing as young Abby that you're not supposed to like her. You're supposed to be like, God damn it, why?
Why am I playing as this asshole?
God damn it, why? And I think they do a decent job of trying to make you empathize with her, but personally, I don't think it was needed. But it was interesting and a hella ballsy move. And I hate to bring this in. You know, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, Episode 8, was all about subverting your expectations. Everything we thought was going to happen, no. This happens. This game does that in droves as well, and it's a hella ballsy move to do. Again, I don't think I would have the guts to do it. It's a hella ballsy move to do. I wouldn't personally make that decision, but it was interesting to play her shoes, but I think it's a little too long. And a lot of it is for naught in a lot of ways. Like Yara and Lev, we'll talk about in a little bit. I did enjoy those characters, but that whole war was just a cool set piece, really. That's all it really was.
It was. But again, I think it's a theme of one of the many themes is of there are things going outside of you. Outside of what
There's
your
these
character
other factions,
does.
These other things going on.
There are things. And I'm with you. I think the Abby part was too long until
you play it 10 plus hours, and then they stop you again.
And you're supposed to.
You're supposed to like her. You're supposed to sympathize.
Well, you're supposed to be. I think the overall theme is this of can you forgive? Is what I took away from this game is, and I think if this game comes out last year, maybe next year. I don't know if the themes hit as hard, but right now in what we're going through as a society, it kind of hits hard. Can you forgive people who have done you wrong?
Us too.
Yeah, those. But
good job, Joel. That's a good one.
But when you first start as Abby and you hate her,
JJ really loved the game. Carl or Savage. I'm in the middle. I didn't love or hate it. I understand what they were doing. I get there was pretty much no plot holes in this game. I just find it a little baffling that they kind of...
It wasn't the story people wanted. I think that's
not just
100%.
necessarily that. Like, I understand what was going on, but it resonated with you a lot more than it did me, and I don't feel... I don't feel any remorse for Abby. Like, I don't care, but I don't hate her. I understand what's going on. I would do anything for my dad. Anything. I don't care if you're the main character. I don't care if you're the God of War coming right at you. I probably wouldn't make past day one, to be honest, but hey, I tried.
No. But we'll see, though. If you're motivated for 4 years, you get the ability to go to a militia with a gym, and they actually raising their own animals.
Yeah, they talk about all that, and they show the obsession of of revenge a little bit.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, people think this is all about hate and revenge, and what I took away was more about... The first game was about love between these two strangers. Can they become father and daughter? In a lot of ways, this game's about love, too. It's a love for a father and what you will fucking do for him.
Yeah.
Push everybody away.
It's about love. It's about hate. It's about redemption. Abby's story is a redemption story, where Ellie's story's on the other side of it. It's a revenge story that goes... I mean, you end up... Like, I know I did towards the end. I'm everything Ellie does, I'm like, don't do it. Don't do this.
Yeah, we beat the game, Savage. That's why we're doing a spoiler cast. We wouldn't be doing a spoiler cast if we didn't beat it, bro.
Yeah. So every decision Ellie makes, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? And then you have to see it through. But yeah, I agree with a lot of it is about love and how the lengths you're willing to go for a loved one that dies, because I really liked Abby's dad. Once that park scene where they did a good job in such a short time to get to know him a little bit, like his quirks and tendencies and how he's kind of...
Did you personally think it was needed? Because I think I would do it a little bit differently. That's why I think this is like a little bit of part 3, and I'll talk about it in a little.
I think to tell this particular story, you 100% need to know that man. Who did Joel kill?
Yeah, I don't know if Abby's necessarily... I don't know if we need to know the Firefly story personally, but go ahead, continue.
It's in this world though. You have to know, because her killing Joel doesn't make sense without.
Yeah, they tried to Metal Gear Solid 2 it, and it didn't hit a lot for a lot of people, and I understand, and I'm in that boat too. It did not. I don't
No.
Like, I understand Abby's motivations. I understand why she's pushing Owen away. I understand what's going on. But it doesn't hit me the same. I don't care at the end of the day. I don't give a shit. Like, that's the stand. Like, I know a lot of people were gonna be like, this is the greatest game ever, and this game's a piece of shit. And I just said this earlier. This game is not shit. Because I don't like the story, it doesn't resonate with me, doesn't mean it's a bad game.
Yeah.
But again, because it subverts your expectations doesn't make it a great game either. Doesn't also make it a bad game. This game is very interesting. And that's why I find it very baffling at some of the choices they make. Because it's just kind of... It's kind of odd to me, and it's like I said, it's super ballsy to do. Like, it's very odd, and again, I hate to bring Star Wars into the equation. It's like, okay, why would you do that? Nobody wanted that. Like, why would you do that? But that's not the story they wanted to tell, though. They wanted to tell this story, but I think this game kind of ended a couple times as well, in my personal opinion. We'll talk about it when we get there. I want to talk about the next thing. Is that we already talked a little bit about Abby's father's death, but the whole restart thing, the whole sorry, freaking Savage is saying something.
No, you're funny. I'm just thinking about the restart thing. It's funny.
Yeah, it can be jarring for a lot of people, and
it gasses you up. They
hype you up like you're. I'm like, yes. Gonna murder. Take everybody to Murder Town.
Well, you're.
Are you still there? I think you're frozen, JJ. We'll wait till JJ gets back here in a second. The trailer was better than the game. I get what you're saying, Joel. There he is. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you froze. I guess it was on.
Well, you froze. I didn't see.
Yeah, on my screen, I hung up because I couldn't. Yeah. You were just. But it gasses you up for, Abby kills Jesse, has a gun to Tommy's head, and then you're out of it, man. That whole situation's done. And now
Jesse
you gotta
dies
learn.
Pretty quick, man. It's brutal.
Yeah, just boom.
Boom. Probably not the smartest thing to run out right away, but hey, you can tell he wasn't as experienced as everybody else was, though.
They killed so many characters in this game. It was insane.
Yeah.
I'll go on record right now. I think I've said it before. This game was not necessary, though. I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
You didn't need this game. I don't know if there's pressure from the studio to make a second Last of Us, but...
You know how long he's been working on this game, though?
5 years.
No. He started in 2014.
Yeah. Yeah, five-ish years.
It's like 6 years.
Because
he started writing it 2016. So he probably started legit, you probably 5 years.
I think he told the story to Troy and Ashley at the BAFTAs, I think in 2015 or something.
Yeah, they were drunk at a European bar or some shit.
yeah. But yeah, to totally restart, I was in the boat as everyone else, man. I was like, man, fuck. Yeah, I stopped playing that night.
Actually, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I get what they were going for, but I see a lot of people's reaction, and they're like, God damn it, fuck. And it was funny to watch after playing it and being in it and looking at all the leaks now and watching so many people's reactions. It's interesting to see everybody's... And again, we're not doing the Spoilercast for any justification. I don't need my opinion validated. And you guys shouldn't either. You should just have your own opinion and enjoy it how it is, or hate it how it is.
We've never had to do this for a game before. That's how crazy this game was.
This is why it's so interesting to me. And JJ and I in the Persona 5 Royal Spoilercast, already said that game was a 10 out of 10. But I said Last of Us Part 2 is probably a lock for the game of the year. And we'll talk about that in a second. But again, I don't hate it. I just find it very odd. Maybe if they did it sooner. Maybe if you played it Abby in the beginning of the game, or maybe it's kind of hard to do it like halfway through and do a Metal Gear. They legit do a Metal Gear Solid 2. And you could hear Neil Druckmann on the Kind of Funny podcast. He's a big fan of that game, Metal Gear 2, and I think it did it better. And he even talks about how he wanted to have an end section to the game, and I thought, again, the game just fucking went too fucking long. Like, it's just like, holy shit, like, holy fuck. I finished with 28 hours, I think, my first playthrough.
I'll say this. It was finally nice to play a game that wasn't 80 to 100 hours.
Yeah, right.
It was finally, and to still get as emotionally drained as I did in other games. To play 20, I think mine was 26 hours. To play 26 hours and still feel the things I felt.
Did you go back through again, though? Did you get your plat yet?
No, I'm in the middle of, I'm almost done with day 1 with Ellie.
Okay.
And I'm halfway through.
I know we're harping a lot on the story. Let's talk a little bit on gameplay.
Okay.
And how we felt about gameplay. I thought the gameplay was so damn stellar in this game. It was really fun. And honestly, it's the reason why I kept going, because the game was so fun to play, and how to handle this semi-open section, and how to handle these clickers, make these clickers fight these people. There's a hell of a lot great horror moments in this game. A lot of dark, cramped places. There's a totally Resident Evil hospital scene with a giant, mutated clicker with Abby, which was fucking dope. It was cool. But again, I think a little too long and a little too unnecessary.
It's one of those weird things where, sometimes a game just ends and you're sad it ends, and sometimes things go on too long. And I think that's why games get made a little longer than they should be. Is because it does. It's a lot of the same sneak around, kill this enemy. I'll say this: these are the best AI enemies I've ever played. These were dynamic.
Really smart. I like that.
They all had like a mind of their own. Like, you could sneak up on this one, and if you hit it with the silencer, no one else would hear it, even though this enemy heard you. And they're everywhere. Like, if you lose track of an enemy, it will come upon.
The dogs,
yeah.
The scent trail.
Yeah.
Also, I really liked. It's like the stupidest thing ever, and the silliest thing ever. But when you kill somebody, and they're like, "Oh shit, Nora or Carl," they want you to make it feel like they had a life and stuff like that, which is cool. It's commendable. At the end of the day, I'm still shooting you.
Oh yeah, you're killing 100 of those people.
And the arrow, I hated the arrow in the first game. The bow and arrow in this game is so fucking sweet. Like, it's so.
Dude, that bow and arrow is, especially when you fully upgrade it and it gives you the reticle where it has to be. That was fun. That and the explosive arrows where if you shoot it, you don't even have to shoot somebody. If you put it in the right spot, it'll blow up for people.
That was my favorite weapon for sure. Was the explosive arrows, and just the guts and the gore, and I didn't feel emotionally drained at all in this game, and that was kind of the issue. The story kept me going enough, but it was more of the gameplay that I really loved about this game. It's rare for me to say that. I don't value gameplay as much. I value the story the most. And if this game was called Abby, Hello Kitty Abby's Big Adventure or something, I think it would have more love to it because it'd be different. But to compare it to the first game is really hard for a lot of people, and I understand it because it's not. It pretty much comes back to Joel. If they don't kill Joel, everyone 100% loves this game. It's 100 on Metacritic or user score. It would be the perfect user score, but because of the Joel death, and especially leaking it getting leaked right away. Yeah, it did leak right away.
Leaking right away, showing you pictures of it without context to why he died. Yeah. No one played it. Everyone gave it a 0 without playing it. I mean, to give a Naughty Dog game a 0 is insane to me.
Yeah.
Just like you said, gameplay kept you going. I mean, that's worth a 5 right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
the review bombing is kind of a bummer, but
on both sides though. On both sides of it.
Yeah. The critics absolutely, and I don't think like a lot of our friends and stuff, like, all the reviews are paid. That's not true. Like, the critics,
I don't think so either.
The critics are not paid off. The reason being is Days Gone And Death Stranding didn't have very high reviews either. There was legit reviewers that gave Death Stranding a 0, and that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit.
And again, another 0. It's not a game worth 0. It's hard for me to give a video game nowadays a 0. I mean, it would have to crash just opening the game because I don't know. Video games amaze me a lot of time.
I know, you're exactly right. Like, to me, a 0 is unfucking playable. But for a lot of people, that definition's like story. Like, it's unfucking playable.
Yeah, I guess it
and
does
you're
depend
right.
on...
You're right a little bit. Like, I think a lot of people drew the line in the sand right away, and Neil talks about that. And he was hoping people would play it for context. But still, again, I don't think it was wrong. It kept me going, but I think they could have handled it a little bit better, in my personal opinion.
I don't know, dude. That shot of Ellie laying on the ground, they pull up from that last hit,
and Abby and Ellie are stupid. Like, they are stuped. Abby leaves her alive twice, idiot, dumb, and then Ellie leaves her alive a couple times too. It's like, God, you guys are. It makes no sense to me. But that was a powerful moment though when Abby's got the gun to Ellie. We let you live. You fucking wasted it. Yeah. Like for a lot of people it is. For me it wasn't. I get it. I know Laura, and this is not Laura Bailey's fault at all. Laura fucking
got a lot of
knocks it out of the park. She is the best waifu in Persona 4. Leave her alone on Twitter, damn it, people. Stop sending her death threats. She cried on the damn podcast. Jeez. Leave her alone, damn it. And she doesn't get to make the decisions. You know, Neil and everybody else does, the creative team. There was 3 directors of this game. And again, I don't think their intent was to hurt anybody and be like, let's take one of our most beloved characters away. You know, it's to give you a good shock value and keep you going. Like, that was their intent. And I think in a lot of instances, I don't think they thought it would be like that. I don't think they thought it would be like, oh shit, we really, for a lot of people, we really fucked up.
I think they're conditioning us, though. I think they're conditioning us for when they kill Kratos in the next game.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up later because I don't think. I think you would fucking hate that. I think you'd fucking hate that.
It depends on what the story is. It depends how it does. I think they did a great job.
The first 2 hours they killed Kratos with a magical golf club. You're gonna fucking hate it, JJ. It's your favorite game of all time. Don't even lie.
I did hate this at first. When Abby killed Joel, I didn't like it. I was like, fuck. But
no, you let it happen. You had the power to stop it, and you let it.
I did watch that one video where they go, how to stop Abby, and Joel walks into the hospital room to save Ellie, and then walks right back out.
That's a funny meme, for sure.
Yeah. But, I didn't want Joel to die, but they already told you in 2017 you're not going to play as Joel. This is an Ellie game. They told you.
Well, it's funny. The thing is, people, like the clip I sent you yesterday, a lot of people harp on where, like, Neil's like, we'll do, like, the stories about these 2 characters will do right by you. But things change, man. Plans change. Things are different, you know.
It was 100% going to be an Ellie story. The Abby thing was the thing they didn't want you to know.
Yes. And Joel's death.
It was going to be an Ellie
story. See it coming. For sure.
No, they didn't want you. Yeah. It ended 2 hours. But I think that's what makes the flashbacks.
Magical Golf Club. Confirmed. Kratos dead.
Yeah.
JJ will fucking lose it, bro. That's how he'll feel it.
If Atreus does it, I'll be pissed. Like,
no, Freya's gonna be 3 times as big. Freya with Magical Golf Club. I don't think Corey's gonna do that. I think Kratos is central to that story.
I have a feeling he already wrote that story of Kratos dying.
Yeah, a lot of people think the spoilers for God of War that the mural is that the mural is Kratos dying, but I don't
know if that'll ever make it in a game, but I'm sure
to
there's
be fair, Kratos dies a lot and goes to hell and comes back. That's usually
Kratos has died,
and I would say he's 1,000% more worse than Joel ever was. He killed his own father, murdered countless people, killed his own family.
He's the worst. He's one of the worst characters ever.
I really believe, and I don't think Corey's going to do that. But if they did, I don't think Corey
That's
will
a
do
story
that
for
A,
another
and
time.
I think GAJ would fucking lose it if they did that.
We'll see. Again, it's hard to say right now because it depends on how you handle it.
Yes, it is. But, well, just your raw emotion, you know. It's funny that you say they're gonna murder everybody. Ratchet and Clank is dead in the next game. Confirmed.
Conditioning us to...
Peter Parker's dead in Spider-Man. But I think that's also the issue with the story is that we've played better. God of War is 1,000% better. Persona 5, I would say, has a lot of dark fucking themes. Some uncomfortable fucking moments. But there's some great lighthearted moments in there. And there's not enough to balance it. Except for, you know, the one thing was just the Joel flashbacks were the greatest. I think that was the greatest part of the story. And that's kind of sad because they were the fucking flashback.
But I think they were meant to be that.
And honestly, it was a nice surprise, too. I was not
The museum was the best one.
The birthday party at the museum was a really nice nod to this.
Did you swim up? Did you swim up to the pallet?
Which one?
Did you swim up to the pallet?
The pallet.
The pallet. You know in the first game where Ellie
you put pallets over? No, was there one?
So what you do is when you go to the second part, when you jump into the water, you can swim up to it. And she goes, "Oh, we won't be needing these anymore," or something like that.
Oh, that shit's funny. That's great. Yeah, that's classic.
Those are my favorite part too, though.
Let's
those are
talk
my favorite parts.
Oh, go ahead.
No, the birthday gift was maybe the sweetest moment where you do see, but I think that set you up to feel that Joel is softened, where he will let his guard down to save someone else. I think
a little bit.
That's part of the story. But yeah, I love that when they're in the space shuttle together and he hands her the tape, and I cried there. That was sweet.
It's probably the best moment in the game, unfortunately, and I do like the ending moment too. We'll get to it in a second. I want to talk about graphics, like how fucking impressive the graphics were in this game. Like so outstanding. I feel like this is almost next gen, and Ghost looks phenomenal too. Like Ghost looks really good.
I'm excited for that.
Go ahead.
No, the graphics, yeah. I think they only added 2 different monsters in this one, though, right? They added
I think there was 3. It might be 2. It was Shamblers, Stalkers, and then
Stalkers,
the mutated
that Rat King guy. The boss. The Shamblers. Stalkers were cool because at first
they made bloaters super hard in this game too, which I love. It was great.
Yeah,
they were super easy in the first game. Molotov, bloaters are dead.
Yeah. The stalkers were interesting because at first you think they're clickers, because they'll get on you and you think you die right away.
They sneak around behind you and you can't sense them.
Nope. So it was, and I never understood the spider sense in this game. I know
no
you can
one
turn
can
it
deny
on.
The graphics are. They are, man. It's Naughty Dog's best. Graphics, gameplay, sound design, everything. I love and I feel like I forgot to mention this. This is on me. The beginning of the game is the ultimate love letter to the first game. When you start as Joel, you play your future days. You play for the future days for Ellie, and she tears up a little bit, and she's like, "Oh, it didn't suck," and which is super funny. That reminds you of the first game so much, but I think they dropped the ball on some character decisions in this game, and we'll continue that. The graphics are phenomenal. Let's get back to some key story moments. We talk about Abby's father's death. You see where that's coming from. You see that she's pushing Owen away. She's so obsessed with training, and Owen wants to see some spotted seals and shit, and she pushes them away when they're younger. And he loves this marina. He's trying to rebuild this boat. He found where the fireflies are, supposedly, or that's what they think. Abby's over that shit. She's tired of that shit. But Owen's over this war. He talks about how he didn't kill any scars anymore and shit like that. And he was very the only fleshed out character in Abby's whole regime. Everybody else was kind of just, Manny's a sex god, apparently. Mel's pregnant. That's her only defining feature. And... Well, she's also a really good surgeon. I should point that out. She was
a doctor who studied under Abby's father.
Yeah, who was like the only neurosurgeon in the fucking world.
Yeah, and she hates Abby, but for good reason.
Well, yeah, and Owen can't let it go. Last night didn't mean anything to me. It meant something to me.
Owen was definitely the bitch in the relationship.
I see where he's coming from. He lost his family too, but he was over it. He wasn't obsessed with this revenge anymore.
That's That's the overarching theme in this: is can you get over?
Yeah, a little bit, and that's kind of
get over your revenge.
I thought Mel was a guy multiple times.
There's a couple things that went over my head in this game.
Joel, oh my god.
Because I knew there was a trans character in it. I always thought it was Abby.
It's Lev.
Yeah. And that just went over my head until at the end of the story. I got it. But yeah, for
Lev is supposed to be a bride, and it's how deep you want to take because the Seraphites are kind of like Christianity a little bit. They believe in this Jesus-like character and high religious belief, and I can see why people being very religious really are upset by that. It's kind of knocking their belief. And
I would say it's more of a cult, though. It's not really.
Yes, but that's what they're trying to tell you is that religion could be cult.
I wouldn't compare it to Christianity. It's not even a little bit, because they knew their God. Their God was. They actually met this woman. This woman existed to them. Where I've never met Jesus. I'm not Christian.
I hung out with him the other night. He was cool.
Seems like a decent dude.
And then the Wolf faction was
another
I won't
cult.
say like the NRA, but they were just they had a lot of powerful guns. They're very much a militaristic force and group a little bit. And Isaac, he's kind of they broke the peace treaty, all this nonsense. But you don't really get to know him. It's not really intimidating.
You have to, in order to get these other character beats that you're missing out. You do have to read every collectible. They kind of flesh out.
I got all the collectibles and stuff. Yeah, I feel like the collectibles never reach.
They flesh out Isaac more in the collectibles.
Yeah, how intimidating he is and how much torture he's doing and stuff like that.
He was a Firefly as well. He was in the Salt Lake group as well.
Yes,
and he's the one who starts the Wolves. And he was a good friend of. That's why Abby can get away with what she can get away with because his best friend.
Well, he didn't like that. He came after her for doing that, but.
Well, that was Abby's dad's best friend was Isaac.
Yeah. I felt like the collectibles, the note stories were good, but they don't have that standout one like in part 1, like Ishmael, where he crashed his boat, he goes to the sewer system, he starts rebuilding he found some people and they're rebuilding the society and then they all kind of fucking, die. They all get murdered by clickers and horrific death happens, and replaying the first one really just solidified how much better that game is than this game. Not in terms of graphics and technicality and all the engineering stuff. Obviously, number 2 is so much better. But when it comes to pacing and storytelling, I think the first one is much, much better. I'm
not going to argue there. I would say...
Well, I know you said you were watching some stuff and you didn't like it as you used to.
Well, no, I was never in love with Joel like everyone else. That's my
yeah.
The Last of Us is the first real groundbreaking storytelling game. It was the game that kind of hey, we can do this with a video game.
For a lot of people, yes. For a lot of people, yeah.
You can tell, TV stories, or you can do what someone does in I don't know, 2 seasons of a TV show.
What is the difference between a video game and a movie and TV?
Well, you get to play as them, and I think
you get to interact. You get to be the characters. You get to walk in their shoes. And for a lot of people, they didn't want to walk in those shoes. They wanted to stay in these shoes. They wanted to stay in those shoes. And again, I think it's a really risky maneuver that didn't pay off because people do not resonate with Abby. I think they failed with Abby. A lot of people do not like her. Even people that love the fucking game, where I'm not saying anybody's personal names from my friends list. I was reading some Facebook, but even people that are like, man, this game's like a 9 or a 9.5-ish, but fuck Abby. No argument. That's it. And that's coming from surprising people where I would not expect them to say that. I expect them to like Abby, and like I get it and I understand it, but I think they really and it's not Laura Bailey's fault. Again, it's not her fault. The acting was so damn good, but it's on Naughty Dog a little bit. I think they mishandled her a lot, but again, it wasn't our decision. It's their decision to make the game.
What way did they mishandle her, though? How do you feel?
Her existing.
Yeah.
Her existing in the fucking first place. But I'll tell you how I would do part 2, and then we do part 3, because that's one of the questions we have on here on the Spoiler Pod. Let's continue. Let's talk about Lev and Yara and the Seraphites and the Wolf faction a little bit. You brought up you thought Abby was the trans character.
At first, because I knew there was one in here, and I knew everyone was upset about that.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I could see why, because she is a unit. She is strong.
But then you see her motivations, and they flesh that out a little bit. You see how
she got big, yeah. It's all justified. Everything's justified in the story. But it was Lev, so...
Yes.
It was Lev, played by an actual trans actor/actress.
And that's the part of the story where I don't understand why people didn't. Because to me, that felt like Last of Us. That felt like the first game.
They tried to do that. You're right. They tried to do the Ellie and Joel thing with those two.
Lev was funny as hell. I laughed so much because he has that. It wasn't as like outwardly talking about jizz and stuff like Ellie did. It was a dry.
Well, he doesn't know, right? He doesn't know the other side of the world. Like he doesn't know what's going on. He's a sheltered kid, and I laughed so hard at Lev. Lev ended up being probably my favorite character in the game. Yeah, a lot of people. Lev and Yara have a good story arc, I would say, and they try to do that a lot with Abby and Lev a little bit, try to recreate that a little bit. Again, because with the heights thing and all that, they go through this to help Yara's arm. It's a brutal scene, and I was wondering, when the fuck is this scene going to happen? I'm like, where is this scene I've seen in the trailer like 2 years ago? Like, what's going on? Then it finally, I'm like, because for a point in time before this game started, I thought Abby was Ellie's mom for a while. Because Ellie's mom was a Firefly and left her with Marlene, but you find out they're essentially the same character. They're two young girls that love their dad very much. Obviously so, but I think they Yara really gets it bad, yo. Like she gets it freaking bad, man.
That poor girl.
Losing her arm, getting blown away by Isaac and them. Then Isaac gets his turn. It all happens really quick. It's a beautiful scenery. Like, the vistas in this game are fucking great, man. Like, they're so well constructed. Again, it's just, the story is just kind of baffling to me a little bit. And I'm glad JJ likes it, and I'm glad some people like it, but I'm not just gonna pretend to enjoy and say the story is mad. We played so much better games. Persona 5 Royal is such a better story-driven game, and it probably has some equally dark tones as this game does.
I don't think there are dark tones in Persona 5 Royal as dark as this.
Not in the sense of... I mean, there's a lot of physical abuse and a lot of fucked up situations.
I think that's just Japanese culture in general.
Yeah.
That game, the stuff that disturbed me the most in that game is just their culture.
Yeah. But I don't think a lot of people would like P5 if you played as Kamoshida 1 hour into the game. I think people would be like, man, fuck this. But again, it's an interesting decision. I don't hate it. I don't hate Abby, but I don't feel one way or another. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just, all right, cool. You went with that, but let's talk to the ending. I thought this was the ending. 100%. We go back. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's go back to Ellie's part. They get to the theater on day 3. They finally find Tommy. They're having a good time. He got some jewelry for his life, for Maria, because he became Joel in this game. And I love Tommy in this game because he becomes Joel. And that whole sniper sequence, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? So damn good. And then it's like, oh shit, it's him. And I'm not gonna lie to you, when he shot Manny in the face, I was like, yes.
I wasn't. Yeah, I guess that a lot of these deaths didn't affect me.
Yeah.
Especially on her side.
And you knew Tommy didn't die off the dock, because you saw the scene
you knew
before.
that. Now they did get me. I did think.
Yes, we'll talk about that. Let me rewind there. Let me go there. So we see the other side of the story. You hear Tommy getting fucked up, and it's like, what the hell? And then Jesse and Ellie both run out, and then Jesse's dead. Bye-bye Glenn from Walking Dead. Shot in the face instantly. Does not get to see his baby boy. Total bummer. Total bummer, and it's quick, and people hated that moment too. They really like Jesse. I don't think Jesse's super fleshed out, but they did a decent job. But go ahead.
Well, it got me a lot because again, I'm coming from a place as a parent. I couldn't imagine not seeing my kids.
What up, Seth?
So if I guess I wouldn't know because I'd be dead. But to know that, to be excited about having a kid or even thinking about it, and then poof, that would have sucked. So that moment got me. Anything to do with like dads and shit.
That was a tough moment. And then you're like, and Tommy's like begging Ellie, and we don't even see Lev at all yet on this side. And she's like, shut the fuck up, and she's pointing the gun at him, Ellie, and she's like, Ashley Johnson's performance in that scene is great. She's like, fuck, like, fuck it, oh shit, okay, I know why you're mad, calm the fuck down. Like, it's well done. It's really well acted. This game is so well acted. I get it. It's just, again, questionable story beats for me. And she's like, and JJ's right, you fucking wasted it. Well performed. Again, I don't really give a shit. I don't care. It's not a big deal to me. But stop. Pause. 4-year flashback. And I love a lot of people's reaction. Oh, where are you going, game? Do not flashback right now. And you play as Abby a little bit. All right. Rewind. All awkward sex scene on the boat. All that shit. Rewind. We go up. And we see the other perspective where you actually lead up to the theater. Because they were hanging out in the theater in Seattle. I like that. A lot of games use Seattle lately, which is pretty cool. Pretty interesting. You climb up the theater with Lev. And Lev has the bow on Tommy. You're beating the shit out of Tommy. You see the other perspective. You shoot Jesse in the face. I find it odd in this scene that Abby tells Lev to watch Tommy. And she's pointing the gun at Ellie and saying, you're wasting it. And then Tommy is somehow able to get up while Lev is watching him and still grab the gun. It's a little bit of a nitpicky thing, but I was shocked when he came up and I was like, oh shit. And then he gets shot in the knee with an arrow or the back or something. And then you see the gunshot to his head. I was like, well, he's fucking dead. He's gone. He's fucking dead. And then it turns into a boss fight. And this was part of the original leak, that Abby kills Ellie. And I guess the guy didn't see past that at all. And it's a fake-out death. It's a really interesting thing to put you as, in a lot of people's eyes, the antagonist of this game. You play as her, and you got to fight one of the most beloved characters, and it looks like you're going to kill her. It looks like it. You're choking her out. Bitch! Choking her out. And then Dina comes in, knife blazing, and then Abby, she goes, just beats the shit. I mean, I don't know how Dina survived, personally. And this is why a lot of people don't like Abby's character. It is because she pulls out her knife, and Ellie's like fucked up. I don't even know how Ellie's alive. To take all those punches in the face and have a broken arm like that or whatever. Or at least it looked like she broke the arm or something. Like, she does, like, some jiu-jitsu move.
Oh, she broke her arm. For sure, 100%.
It looked like it anyway. That's what I thought anyway.
Yeah.
And she's like, she takes the knife and she's like, good. And she was just going to fucking slit Dina's throat. Didn't care. That's pretty fucked up. That's not a life.
Well, I'll say this.
Yeah. Well, her buddy died too, right? So
if
you're okay,
right? if you're okay with Ellie killing a pregnant woman, then
Ellie's thing was an accident. Ellie's thing was that she didn't want to kill him. when she killed Mel and she saw she was pregnant, she was hurt, visibly shaking.
Well, she was because of she's trying to be Joel again.
Yeah,
she's trying to do
point at the map thing. Try to do
the map thing, and she's trying to be Joel, and she's not Joel.
She's not as hard. She's not
hardened. She's
19 in this game, by the way, too.
That's why she's my favorite character in those series. She's one of the few that she has this heart.
And Joel wouldn't have never made this mistake. What did she crucially do? In that Mel and Owen scene, what did she fuck up on?
What?
She left the map. You don't leave the fucking map.
It's
such a dummy move. You leave the fucking map.
I remember telling Seth that. I'm like, if she would just picked up the map, none of this would have happened.
Yeah, and then that's how Abby finds, the other way around.
When she held the knife to Dina after playing this game, I'm like, Dina's fucking dead too now, man.
Yeah, that's why I thought she should have been dead anyway. But
I was really,
Lev. Lev is like the light. Lev is like you said, like Lev Ellie in this game.
Lev is the Ellie
Yo, don't.
Yeah.
Yo. And then Abby does the
stupidest
thing again, is leave Ellie alive and all this. But back, okay, boom. We're going to, yeah.
I didn't want to do that boss fight either, because, I love Ellie.
Yeah.
I did not.
It's a bummer. And that would have been a ballsy move, too, if you killed Ellie with Abby.
I think I would have hated that.
Yeah.
I think that would have fucked this game for me.
So I thought it was ending here, because I don't know how much of a time skip it is. You go on to the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful vista. You see little Jeffrey Jr., Joel Jr., Jesse Jr., Joel Jesse, whatever you want to call him, little potato man, cute little bastard, and they're having a really peaceful life. They have this little sheep farm. They're having a good time. They're in love. They're married, essentially. Ellie and Dina. They have fun. Great moment. And I think if you're going to take the moral high ground, the game, it's painfully obvious to me the lesson of this game. And I don't want to make it seem like it's too simplistic, but in essence, it's like revenge is bad, the game, essentially. I think if they would have I think it still would have pissed a lot of people off. If they would have took the moral high ground and Ellie was just like, I'm over this. I have a beautiful son and I have a beautiful wife. I'm herding some sheep. I can end it here. And I thought it was over. I didn't think it was going to happen. But then she kind of has some PTSD of Joel. And like you said, she's kind of like a drug addict a little bit. That's kind of what they want you to think about her a little bit anyway. That she can't let this go.
It's addiction. And again, she thinks killing Abby will make her feel better.
Yeah.
She thinks it'll get in the same way Abby felt about killing Joel. Maybe it will help me sleep better at night, or maybe it will help me feel. And it doesn't.
Yeah. What did you think of that scene overall, though?
I loved the farm. I didn't think it was going to end there. I just because I don't know.
She just keeps going. I'm like, Jesus Christ, kid.
if you read. If you read the stuff, she can't sleep. She's losing a ton of weight.
Yep, that's true.
She's skin and bones and like I said,
she's very skinny. She is.
Yeah. She thinks getting rid of Abby will fix all her problems when Abby's not even in the picture anymore. If you don't even think about her, you won't even know. But you keep having that flashback of Joel's, which I think was beautifully shot. His brains on the fucking golf club it's
a bummer.
That's gross.
It's a bummer.
Fucking insane. So yeah, it was a good scene where you get to see her have a happy family. She has it all now. She has a life that she can. And they got the farmhouse that they've been talking about, or that Dina's been talking about. Jesse's parents are a little pushy, but whatever. But I enjoyed the farm, and it was a bummer to leave because right after that scene is where I questioned everything Ellie was doing. I'm like, I want to do this. Mm-hmm. As every decision she made was the wrong. Going back and it just
and it's
Tommy eggs are on because then you find out Tommy's still alive.
Yeah, that was a big surprise. I guess she just missed his head a little bit, but he's crippled. He can't walk. Him and Maria are having problems, and he's like, I can't fucking do this. You got to do it. And
you made a promise, bitch.
Yeah, he's like, you told me you'd make her pay. And I'm like, all right. And this is another problem with the game. They rev you fucking up again. Like, all right, we're doing this shit. And you find out this new faction because you play as Happy again. God damn it. She finds the Fireflies. So she's like, Owen's right. And you discover this is Rattler territory. I guess they're like slave traders or something. I don't know. They're like...
Do they turn people on purpose?
It looked like they were doing that, right? It looked like they were kind of...
Yeah, it looked like
they're not explained
people.
enough. They come out very end. I do like the bigger guy, though. He's pretty funny.
He looked like the guy from Sons of Anarchy.
That's the vibe I got from this, was like Sons of Anarchy. Like the Rattlers were like Sons of Anarchy a little bit.
Well, I wonder if it was that guy. The guy, he's also in I think he's in Batman Begins, too.
I just want to point out, Seth, you're contradicting yourself. You said Avengers was Game of the Year.
Oh, now what's he saying?
He said this is Game of the Year, no doubt about it.
Don't worry, he'll say Ghost of Tsushima is when that comes out.
I think he just really loves his dad. And that's the wrong person to look up to. Look up to your big cousin, who's better than your father.
No, Seth, if I ever get beat to death at the golf club, you will avenge me.
Love you, little cuz. And I love you too.
Actually, let it go, Seth. Don't do. You would not survive in this world. Neither would I.
They're introduced really late. Like, they're introduced really late, the Rattlers, and dude, they just beat the shit out of her.
Yeah.
They beat the shit out of her and Lev, and it's brutal. And
they were excited to get her, too.
Do you think that was a setup, by the way?
A setup? The
Firefly thing. Like, was she talking to the Rattlers or the Fireflies, you think?
I did think it's a setup until I'll explain why I don't. At the end.
The screen changes, yeah.
Yeah. But I at the time, not at first, but after you play as Ellie and see the round building, I'm like, oh yeah, but that was in Santa Barbara. That wasn't in another area.
That was in Catalina City or whatever.
Yeah. Yes, Catalina Island.
Catalina Island, yeah.
The Catalina wine mixer.
The Catalina wine mixer, Jay.
Catalina wine. So at first I thought it was a setup, and then I realized it wasn't. But I was there with you on that. Yeah, they were pretty brutal with her, man. They beat the fuck out of her.
Yeah.
And then when you...
And then 2 months pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 months, and then Ellie bursts on the scene. You read the boat. They're living on this boat. You read some of the Rattler stuff, what they're doing. And I think it's like slave trade or some shit. Or turning people like JJ's.
Yeah.
It's very odd what they're doing. You get a really cool gun at the end. So when New Game Plus, after the introduction sequence, you get to use that gun, which is fucking awesome.
Oh, that gun was the shit, man.
It's super OP, and I love it. But it goes out quick, obviously.
Silent semi?
Yeah, it's really cool. Well, Ellie gets trapped. She falls for a trap, gets pierced in the side with a branch, and I'm like, oh shit. She passes out, which I don't know how she survived that, but she did.
She survives everything, Levi.
I know.
She survived a bite.
Yeah, I know, right? And you see the 2 Rattler guys again. Big guy, big boss man, and then the skinny little dude. And she shoves them in front of the clicker. Well, they cut her down, and she shoves them in front of the clicker, and she gets bit again, but she's immune. So it doesn't matter, right? It's not a big deal. And the guy is like, I'll tell you where she is, and you can get to her before you turn. And she's just like, just say it. And then she kills him, obviously. She murders him. So they're in this base, in this big hotel. And it was a fun stealth sequence. You could really stealth it a lot. The stealth in this game is really good. I did a medium of both stealth and I had a lot of leftovers, and I pretty much maxed out all my skill trees but one. And I maxed out all my guns but one for each character, essentially. My first playthrough.
It's impossible to max out everything.
It is, but they made it seem like it would be like you really had to play 2 full playthroughs, but you don't.
Yeah.
You just do most of the... If you open all the saves, they give you enough to do almost every single tree but one, you know? And you can even do half of the tree, actually.
Yeah. If you turn it on, like I'm doing New Game Plus, but playing on an easier difficulty.
Me too. I put on it just to go over.
They give you way more stuff too in the world. Yeah. Like they make it easier to get stuff. So
Ellie is going.
Did you ever try to?
Go ahead.
Did you ever try to free one of the clickers in the middle?
You could. They could attack. Yeah.
Yeah, it backfired.
I didn't do it till later though.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna have them attack all these, and it came right after me, so I had to kill it. I'm like, this is bullshit.
To me, that was more of desperation. Like if they saw you and everybody was coming out, like oh shit, have the clicker.
I just wanted to see what it would do, and it didn't
the
work.
subway scene was really cool too. The horror subway scene with the clickers and the wolf, and you throw the brick and they all attack each other. It was really cool. I like that one a lot. Because we'll get to the high and low. Laura Croft got impaled by a rebar and survived. True, very true. And technically, Joel should have died in the first game too. I don't know how the hell he survived that.
Oh yeah,
I guess Tommy just has plot armor. He can't die. Yeah. He has the plot armor.
That was my high of the first game.
This is the interesting part. You finally get through this hotel. You kill all these people. And you free the slaves, and the slaves are like, she's out on the beach. She's probably dead. I forgot what they called it.
The pillars.
The pillars, yes.
And she tried to escape, and they caught her, and they put her out there.
Yeah, and Ellie, Lou, shout out to Big Lou. He was watching me do this ending, and I'm like, all right, I'm like, holy shit, this is fucked up. I'm like, all right, she's dead. I thought she's dead. And I'm like, where the hell is she? And he's like, oh, she's over at the private. I'm like,
I picked the wrong person, right? Because there's another person there with
that
a braid.
looks like her with the long hair.
Yeah.
And this is part of the game too, the transformation of Abby's body and Ellie's body. That's why it's such a mirror of each other. These two girls are just like the same thing. They might come from a different background. They have different dads, have different body style. She spent her whole life building her body, and it's all gone. It's all wasted. She looks very sickly. Yep. She looks like she's going to die. Her hair's cut. Ellie saves her. Ellie saves her, and Ellie's like, God damn, I can't go through with this. And you go to the boat, and it was funny watching a lot of people's reaction to it. Like, dude, you came all the way out here. You threw Dina away. You threw little JJ, little Jeffrey. By the way, did you see the tree outside?
Where she carved JJ into it?
Yeah, I didn't see that when I came back. It says Dina, Ellie, and JJ. I'm like, oh, like
it said D plus E, and then you can go over there and carve JJ's name.
Like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I didn't do that. I didn't see that at all. But it's she cuts down Lev, and I don't know how Lev survived either, because Lev's like a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
For 2 months hanging there, losing everything, withering away, not eating. And then you have a really great boss battle. Like, I think it's it's very typical Naughty Dog Uncharted boss battle, at the end. But it's very good. It's very powerful. It's very good.
I didn't want to do it at all.
And it's very odd. It's very odd at the same time, because there's no way Abby should have any strength at all for this. Neither should Ellie. Ellie's bleeding out her side.
Yeah. Maybe that's why it works so good.
And she's bleeding.
They're both on the same level.
She sees her blood because they're gonna go in the boat, and she's like, she sees Joel in her hand, and she's like, we gotta do this. And then she pulls out a knife on Lev, says, you're gonna fucking do this shit. And then you have a really good boss battle, and JJ said he didn't want to do it. To me, it's another fake out. It mirrors the previous boss battle with Abby and Ellie's shoes. It's a fake out. It's a choke fake out. She's drowning her. She loses her fingers, 2 of her fingers. I'm kind of fast forwarding because it's all over the internet. You can look at it. I just want to get to the point here. She's drowning, and it looks like it's over. She's tapping out. It's done. And then she lets go, breaks down some tears, sees Joel play, some future days, playing some guitar in her head, and then she lets go and tells Abby and Lev to get the fuck out of here. Just go. And a lot of people think this is a waste. This is a waste of Ellie's story, but I don't think it's as simplistic as that. It's not supposed to mean that. But it didn't hit me that way. I was very much hoping to kill Abby, and you should have did it. You should have finished her, or do this. Alana Pierce said this. I'll give her credit because I watched her ending reaction and it was great. Give me the choice. Let me make the choice. Can I kill her or not kill her? And to me, I would have, but it wouldn't have made me better. It wouldn't have made it. I don't think it makes the story better. But if you're gonna throw everything away, you better fucking do it, in my opinion. In my personal opinion. Again, I don't think the ending's bad. That's supposed to be the lesson. That, revenge is bad. But again, you learn it 5 hours ago. Painfully obvious you learned it 5 hours ago. You don't want these characters to do any of this shit. You want them to stop. Why are you being so dumb about everything? And I think that's part of the problem. It's just that they're both fucking idiots.
Yeah. I think revenge is bad is a theme, but I also think that it's showing that it's also hollow.
Yes.
That if
you're right.
If your addiction, if you give into your addiction, which is it's hard because it's an addiction, it's hard to beat an addiction. But if you are single-minded and want all you're focused on is revenge, you will end with nothing. She can't even play guitar anymore.
Yep, and that was one of the big points at the end. Is her finger being bit off, and I'm like, Dina, you better not fucking be here. I'm like, you better not fucking be here.
You end up actually, you end up. I was in a spot where I hated both characters. I hated both their decisions. At the end, I actually sympathized more with Abby because that was the point, and you could see it from the beginning. Because Abby's is a road of redemption. She starts out as a murderer. She finishes.
Yeah, Mel. We forgot a scene where Mel goes, "You're a big piece of shit, and that's all you are." I'm like, damn, harsh.
And she was.
Yeah.
She was because she was narrow-minded, and all she thought about all the time was killing Joel. She built her body into this weapon. She she could have just stayed at the marina with Owen and lived a happy life. The same way Ellie could have just stayed with Dina on the farm.
First of all these people must smell like shit, by the way.
I agree.
That's the one thing they gloss over with Walking Dead and all these apocalyptic games, is that she got hung. She almost got hung, been through the rain, crawled in a bunch of shit, dove in a bunch of shit, and they have sex.
It also proves that a drunk man does not care.
Yes, it don't matter what you like. I was telling the boys this. It doesn't matter what a girl looks like. There always will be a guy.
Yeah. There's always.
For us though, it'd be a lot harder to get the girl you want.
Yeah, Abby's definitely not my type. But
JJ, you wouldn't have a choice. She would pin you down, and nothing you can do.
That's true, and I'd be grateful for it, I guess. Thank you.
Yeah, please don't hurt me. You're a lot stronger than I thought you were.
Yeah, girl. But
how do you deadlift more than me?
God damn it.
And again, I'm not body shaming. There is women like China, Chris Cyborg from MMA. There's women that are fucking huge.
The girl they use there's pictures online you can look up of the girl they use. I think what throws you off and what threw me off was never the body type.
Yeah.
It was the face just didn't, for whatever reason, the face didn't match up for me, and that's what threw me off.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have, because her having that body type makes sense, and I know people on the internet, in Apocalypse, you wouldn't be able to build that body. But they
had a whole training facility, yeah. Neil
Druckmann did all his research. Like he gives you everything you need to say, hey, she could have.
Yeah, yes.
The same way with the argument on Future Days. Joel shouldn't know that song. It came out after the outbreak.
It was before the outbreak.
He found a YouTube video 2 months before the outbreak where Pearl Jam played it live. I personally hate Pearl Jam, but
that song don't even sound like Pearl Jam either. But it's a good song.
No, yeah, it was.
Ellie's kill-in for Super Smash Brothers, Seth. That would be hilariously funny.
She was in it.
They should do a PlayStation All-Stars too. The fellows and I were talking about this on Twitch. They should do a PlayStation All-Star too.
There's enough characters there for you to have.
Yeah, they built a lot of great characters now that they can have.
Yeah. It's just if you play as Abby against Joel,
like
Joel's
to me, I didn't
suck.
feel empty, hollow. I wasn't upset. I didn't kill her. I get the story. I get the message. It just does not resonate with me. I thought it could have been a lot better. In a lot of ways, this is why it's part 3. Let's talk about the final scene, though, because I think it's beautiful. And this does not undermine Joel. I think some of the game does undermine the first game questioning some of the actions of the first game. And Neil Druckmann straight up. I don't hate Neil. I think he's one of the better directors. Him and Bruce Straley were influential in some of the greatest Naughty Dog games: Uncharted 2, Uncharted 4, Last of Us Part Uno, which I can't believe I'm even saying there's a Part 2 of Last of Us Part 1.
Yeah.
And JJ always brings up this point that I always say the sequel is always better. And Last of Us was the exception, though. You didn't need it. You did not need it.
It's tough because you don't always hit a home run with your first game. Like,
yes. You can't put everything in your first game. I'm playing Uncharted 1 right now, and I'm like, yeah, the gameplay's not here.
It's tough because it's one of those rare instances where you hit that walk-off grand slam with the first game. I know I think it's only a 95 on Metacritic, and this one's a 94, but it was a groundbreaking...
I'm not rubbing this in. I'm going to let JJ finish. I apologize to you. I love you very much.
But Persona 5 is 1.9.
Persona 5 Royals, the number one game this year, baby, still.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But you knew that was going to be high, though, because it's the same game with a lot of
the first one got a 93, so to get 2 points higher is crazy.
Well, no, it makes sense because they added a lot of stuff to Persona 5.
But it doesn't mean it's going to be good, though.
You did. It was going to be good. You already ate, though. But when you hit that walk-off grand slam with the first game and it tells a beautiful story, to me, the second part, you were already doomed to fail no matter what you did. No matter how this story turned out, this was not going to be... It was going to be bashed.
And he was prepared for this. He said there'd be mixed reaction for this game because he's not going to do what you expect.
And I think, with that being said, it made him comfortable with killing Joel. Because he knew no matter what he did, this was not going to be...
Mm-hmm. And it's a ballsy move.
It wasn't going to be received as good. It'd be like, I don't know, bringing back Breaking Bad like they've been trying to do.
Yeah.
I heard that movie wasn't great, and...
They try to do that a lot with a lot of movies. Or TV shows, big time TV. They're trying so hard with Game of Thrones, but season 8 kind of killed it, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Hey buddy. In The Walking Dead, Sprinkles? I know what season did you stop watching Walking Dead?
Snowflake.
Yeah. Because I know The Walking Dead fell off a cliff after a certain season.
It came back though. A lot of people, Lou and everybody said it's really good now. So no pun intended, it came back from the dead. I do want to point out some facts before we talk about Joel's ending and some of our higher lows in Part 3 and what I would change about this game. I do want to point out this was great that this game sold 4 million. It sold it on the hype and everything, which we already knew. We already knew that was going to happen. They'd probably sell a lot. It's really well good. Congrats to Sony and Naughty Dog. But the same thing happened for Star Wars. All the Star Wars movies sold better than the first one. So let's see how it lasts. Let's see how... Only time will tell. This week already in the UK, this game dropped... Last of Us Part 2 dropped 80% in sales. Doesn't mean it's bad. Hold on.
That's going to happen, though. With anything that sells... That blows its wad in the first week?
Yes. You're right. But for context, God of War dropped only 35%. Spider-Man, 42%. The second highest that did drop was Uncharted 4. I think it was like 68%. Again, doesn't mean the game's shitty or anything like that, but that's pretty high. An 80% drop.
No,
just some context. Doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean it's not going to sell anymore. Yeah. It could. That's just the UK. They love their Sony exclusives, but I thought that was an interesting note, that it's like, damn. I'm like, okay, so that means God of War and Spider-Man had a huge drop, too. And then doing some research, I'm like, damn, God of War only had a 35% drop? Because Jim is right. When you have a great launch, you're going to dip off, especially a single-player game.
Yeah,
no chance in hell you're going to keep that longevity.
Also, to put that in context, the user scores on Metacritic went up 34%.
Yeah.
After
the interesting part was the critical score kept going down.
Mm-hmm.
It went from a 96, 95, and a 94 below the first game. Which is still pretty fucking good. I mean, 94 is excellent.
It should be below the first game, in my opinion.
Minecraft Dungeons will win Game of the Year? I would lose my mind. I bet you would, Seth.
Yeah, that's
I bet you would. Let's talk about the ending, though. This is probably one of my favorite scenes in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another flashback with Joel and Ellie. And the context with it, which I thought they weren't going to do the dance scene. Like the ballroom scene. I'm like, where the fuck is this thing? Like, where is it? Was this all one of the fake marketing things? Or it's not in the game? Because they talk about it at the beginning of the game. It's the night after. And Ellie and Dina have their fun, and then Seth says the
Everyone in my family is in this game.
Yeah, says the D word. And Joel gets up like, fuck you, man. And then Ellie's like, I don't need your fucking help, Joel. And that was another big problem with this game for me. Ellie's dynamic with Joel. She kept treating him like a big piece of shit in this game. And he was like a sad puppy dog. You just see him like, you see his lip like, and he's like, yeah, okay. And hold on, I'll let you talk. But you go past all that, you get to see, because she can't play guitar anymore, you get to see this final scene of him playing guitar. And it's the night, this is their actual last reaction, because to me I thought that was the last reaction, was that she called him like a big piece of shit, like I ain't gonna talk to you anymore. And I'm like, damn. And that hurt me, like that hurt me bad. Like I'm like shit, because these characters were super close in the first game. And when I first played the game, I'm like, oh, they've been hanging out a lot, they're back together. But that's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. They've been very distant. They have not been talking regularly. My second playthrough opened my eyes when she mentioned, oh, he's coming over for movie night. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm putting it all together. This is, oh, yeah. God. Like, oh.
Well, you didn't even talk about the scene of why she's so pissed. We didn't even go into that.
We will. The third one, we'll talk about all the flashbacks, but I want to talk about this one because it's really good. You know what? You're right. You're right. We'll do all the flashbacks. We did the birthday one.
Well, just this one to give context for why she's pissed.
The second flashback is, her and Uncle Tommy learning to snipe, which is fun. I thought it was a pretty cool, interesting moment. And I thought that was the trophy sharpshooter. And I'm like, all right, what do I got to do? And then I looked it up, and it was Abby's section. I'm like, oh, shit, I got a long way to go then. But her and Tommy's trying to have a heart-to-heart with her, like, hey, he's kind of worried about you if you don't talk to him. And that's the first instance that she's kind of closing herself off to Joel. And they go to this hotel. They find the dead couple that ran away from Jackson. Bummer. He saves her from a bloater, which was cool. The bloaters in this game are fucking awesome. They are so vicious and hard to kill. They're such tanky bastards in this game. I love them. And then part 3 flashback is she goes to Salt Lake City, Utah. And she finds the recorder and everything that happened. And she's she's pissed off. And I love this scene a lot, too, because Joel is like, Ellie, what the fuck? Don't run. And he gives her a hug. And she's like, no.
Pissed off teenager.
Yeah, she is hormonal. Last of Us 2 almost lost to Bravely Default in Europe. That's true. I saw that as well, Joel. That is factual. 3DS game in this day and age almost beat this game, which is kind of, but it made all its money, right? Like whether you guys like it or not, it's made its money. It's made a shit ton of money.
It was the most pre-ordered game in history.
I don't know how far it'll get up there. I'll say it'll get double digits. It'll still be like 10 million probably, I'd say. Maybe. We'll see. If it doesn't, then that's a big telling sign that, this game didn't sell well. Because hype alone can't sell the game. And I think the leaks hurt it, but I think it'd still be around the same. 4.5 million.
The people who saw the leaks didn't buy it. It was the people who... I didn't know anything about it. I didn't.
No, like if I saw the leaks, I still would have bought. If it was my turn, I love my cousin JJ very much. We game share a lot, and he helps a lot on the channel. And I'm using him and manipulating him.
To buy the games I would buy anyway.
But if it was my turn, I would have bought this and I would have played it anyway because I wanted to be the judge myself. I don't care.
No, but like, you are a different breed. Everyone knows it.
You're right about that. There's people that draw the line in the sand.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. And you're a fairly open-minded person for the most part.
Yeah.
100%. So it is.
I'm just a strong believer. Is you got to play it to know it. You can watch. Don't get me wrong. Support all your streamers. You guys supported the fuck out of me last night. Thank you so much for being there. You know, we were just playing hockey, and I know you guys don't like hockey, but you like hanging out and having a good time anyway.
I think hockey shows off our personalities the best.
Yeah, because we're at ease. We don't have to worry and listen for story context a lot. And we're going to be playing a lot of Avengers. Don't get me wrong. That game's a solid 7. Well, we'll be playing a lot of it. I'll be buying it pretty shortly. Go ahead, JJ. I'm sorry.
I liked that scene of the hospital because it heard
I
saying
didn't even
that,
finish it. Go ahead, finish it up.
Well, she's pissed at him because she finds out that he lied to her this whole time, and that he made her life meaningless to her, or took away her opportunity to.
Yeah, she wanted. In the end of the first game, spoilers. She goes, "This whole journey can't be for nothing."
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to die and be the same. But again, simple medical science, but it's a video game.
But in their world, this would have cured. So they weren't.
No, they said there was a chance. That doesn't mean it was going to happen. We don't know the statistics. It's just a chance, and that's that's the moral you have to choose. Are you going to take a chance to lose somebody again, or are you going to hope they find this magical cure and vaccine?
Yeah. No, you kill the doctor every time, even though it means you're going to get bashed in the brain with a golf club.
You don't have to, though, right? You told me you didn't have to. You told me you didn't kill them.
No, they kill the doctor.
You kill the first guy. You don't kill the other guy.
You always kill... The first guy is the doctor.
Yeah, well, it's him. It's Abby's dad.
You have to kill that guy every time.
Well, I shot him in the face.
I don't know if I don't have those text messages.
Well, the first time I did the neck stab thing, like in the actual scene in here.
Yeah.
In part 2. The second time...
Whoever's watching you guys.
I know.
The second time is I shot him in the face. And I'll tell you again, Abby. I'll do it again. I'm going to go back, platinum this bitch. I'm going to do it again. Fuck you.
100%. You do build a bond, which is... Yeah, it's crazy that you build that bond in that short of a time with her. But
yeah, and I think that's the special part of the game. And I think part 2, that's the special part, is Joel and Ellie. They're the special part of the game. These flashbacks are the special part. For me. I don't know about you. I know it seems like a lot more of the game resonated with you than it did.
Yeah. I think the revenge theme really... Because I can see how someone goes down that road.
Oh, for sure. And it's a very painful, lonely road.
Most reasonable people are like you, who not necessarily didn't like the story necessarily, but you understand everyone's motivation. The story makes sense.
Yes.
There aren't holes in this plot like some people who don't play it want to make it believe. But I get it. It doesn't hit you.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to come on. That's why this podcast is the most excited I've ever podcast. Because you and I, we don't always align, but we're usually on the same side.
Yeah.
And this one, I was very, very interested to hear what you had to say.
Yes.
Because it was different from what I felt. You know, that Ellie scene with Joel where she's pissed and she's done with him. She'll go back. She says she'll go back to Jackson, but she'll never talk to him.
We're never going to talk again, yes.
Yeah, or if you do talk, I'm assuming it was like a logistical
there, yeah.
Well, it was logistical, like, hey, you have to do this.
Yeah, do your job, right? Because they were killing clean out clickers.
Yeah. Nothing. It was never gonna. It wasn't a friendly relationship, and she felt like he took away her opportunity to save the world.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
she breaks down in tears, and it's painful too. But I love Joel in that scene too, because he goes.
Joel's line is beautiful.
He goes, there ain't no cure. Ain't no cure. I like his final line though.
The line where he says he'll do it
all over.
All over again.
Let's go to that scene now. So we have context now.
Yeah.
It's the whole Seth thing went down. The kiss with Dina. Wow.
Dyke.
They have a powwow. They have a powwow, and she's saying, "Where'd you get the coffee?" She starts out. It's, you can tell it's awkward for both of them.
Yeah.
And he's like, "The traders that came in the other week is kind of embarrassed what I had to trade though." And I don't know what he fucking meant by that, but I don't think that was supposed to be any context or anything. But
I think the amount of stuff he had to trade for it, because that was also a beautiful scene when you walk through his house after his death, like going and seeing that Joel had a life. Joel did all these cool things with
Joel,
wood.
He was an old country. He softened, like you said, he softened up a lot. He's old country bumpkin.
You went back, but you played it 1.5 times. So if you actually watch that scene when they figure out who he is before he dies, you see the glimpse. You can actually see it in his face, like he knew he fucked up. Like he knows that.
Yes, 100%.
This is what you get for trusting people.
Yeah. And
anyway, continue.
He it's such a good scene. I love this scene a lot. Besides one thing, the last 2 scenes I don't like. I don't like how Ellie is towards Joel most of this, but I get it. I understand it a little bit, but I'll explain myself a little bit. But anyway, they're having a conversation, and he's like, "Dina, is that your girlfriend?" And she's like, "No, I'm so stupid," and this, and I love this line where he's like, "If I don't know what that girl's intentions are, but she'd be lucky to have you." And then Ellie's just, "God damn it, Ellie, why are you like this, man?" And she just goes, "You're a fucking asshole." "You're a fucking asshole. I'm supposed to die in that hospital. My fucking life matters, Dad." That's her line. She doesn't say it as strong as that, but she has some conviction to it. And she doesn't say Dad either, which bummed me out. I was hoping she'd at least say Dad once. But first she mentions she has Seth under control. She had stopped bugging Jesse about his patrols to watch me and shit like that. And then that scene happens, and then he's like, and I love this line where he's like, "If God gave me a second chance," and this is so beautiful, I would do it all over again. And that's exactly how I felt. I'm glad they didn't change that where he's like, "Oh, I would cave into all your desires." And shit. I love that he stayed who he fucking was to the end. I
love that both characters felt like themselves. If you play the whole first game, Ellie's always calling him an asshole, or she's a fiery person.
Yeah, and
so it always fit.
And with this, I like the line after where she's like, "Well, I can't forgive you for that, but I would like to try." And then he kind of cry. He bites his lip a little bit. It's beautiful. Well, like again, Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker and all the acting in this game is out of the park. But again, for me, baffling story decisions. But that's her final words to him is, "I want to forgive you." And then when I replayed it, it made sense that movie night. That's when they were gonna start.
Well, that guitar scene is beautiful too because Joel he says he can sing, but he never sang for her.
Yes, and I love how they open with that game.
Yeah,
to show how much she means to her, and that's the problem. They have such a special connection, and I think they kind of wasted some of it for.
But that's what
life is sometimes, right?
Yeah, like you don't get the funeral you want. You don't get the death you want.
You don't get the death you want. You're right about that.
You don't get, and I also think it's the only person that could have died to justify this game.
For sure, and this is what I would change about it.
To justify this story.
Yes, this is what I would change about it. That's why I think part of this game's like part 3, and it's mostly the Abby stuff.
And there shouldn't be a part 3. I'll say it again. This game doesn't.
I was going to say the exact fucking same thing.
More.
We'll get to there in a second, but I love that scene. The best parts of the story to me were Ellie and Joel. They have the chemistry. They have it there. I still really, like, I don't know how many times I gotta say this. Like, I just wanted to grab the TV and, like, Ellie, he fucking loves you. Like, what's so hard? Do you understand that? Your life does matter. Your life fucking matters. Like, and that just kind of bugged me. Again, that's not what they wanted to tell. You know, I see where she's coming from. I get where everything's going. But like I said, then she just, if it would have ended on the farm, it would have pissed a lot of people off. But I think that would have been the moral high ground. That, you know, I didn't get my revenge, but I'm okay with it, and I think my dad could be happy in the sky, and I could just be happy with my family. That would have been a better story. But this is how I would change everything. This is how I would change.
Well, can I say one thing first?
Of course, go on.
I think you have to do all that because my favorite scene is when she goes back to the house and she tries to play the guitar.
And she can't.
And then she sets it down and leaves it there and leaves. That's her letting go of her rage. Yeah, that's her saying.
Yes.
Joel,
but this is how I would change the game, though. This ending would not exist for my change. It has nothing to do with killing Abby or anything like that. This is how I would do it. And this is how I would do part 3. So this is how I would do it. I'm not a genius. I'm just the golden god. You're still streaming? Yes, we're having a spoiler cast, Savage. This game's huge, bro. I think this game's too fucking long in a lot of moments as well. But this is what I would do. This is how I would change it. That dynamic of Joel and Ellie, I liked a lot that they didn't have this bond anymore, and they're trying to mend it. So, like 75% of this game is them trying to get that bond back. Maybe something else goes crazy, some other shit happens. Nothing to do with Dina or Dina and Jesse might exist, but they're not big stars in this game, which they're not really anyway in part 2. To be honest, it's really just Ellie and Abby as the stars of this game, and a little bit of Lev towards then. But have that dynamic. Some shit goes down in Jackson. They try to get some revenge, and towards the end of the game, Joel and Ellie meet this girl, Abby. She's separated from her group, the Wolves. She's in huge hella danger. They go save her. They save her, but Joel gets lost in the shuffle or whatever. So they probably have some walkie-talkie communication, something like that. Some bullshit, some out of it, where they both have to get back to Jackson. So you don't see Joel's side of the story. So they're getting back to Jackson. So it's Ellie and Abby, and they bond over like saving this thing and not saving this thing, but they getting back to Jackson. Hey, you can go back to our camp. We can do this, and the game ends when they get back to Jackson, and she's like, "Hey, who's that old guy that was helping you?" And, "Oh, that's my dad, Joel." And then end it there. Boom, Finn. And then part 3, you open with the flashback of Abby 4 years earlier. What happened to Abby? And then you can do the whole Abby route. I think that would have been a little bit better. Again, it's not fucking amazing. That story might suck donkey balls.
No, I get where you're coming from, but that is...
I think that was the most unique part, was those two. They don't even do a revenge story at all of this one, is what I'm trying to say.
You would have... People would have been pissed at you because part 2 then would have been a money grab. Because if you're still finishing the same way, this is a fluff game. This is a game that could be DLC, left behind.
Like I said, I respect Sony and Neil and the whole team at Naughty Dog. The thing about Sony I love so much is they let their studios take a bunch of risks. God of War was a huge fucking risk.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people say the least risky thing is Spider-Man. No, it was a huge fucking risk. We had 100 fucking Spider-Man games already. How is this one going to be different? And that game establishes that, he's 6 years into the Spider-Man year, and some of his most established villains have not even appeared in the fucking universe yet. Mm-hmm. And Miles just appears out of fucking, he just exists here already, which is fucking great. It's awesome. There's no Spider-Verse yet. Part 3, Spider-Verse. Or the next Miles Morales game, Spider-Verse, maybe. All right, well, but... You're right. It wouldn't work for the revenge thing, but I think they would, and it might be a little bit of a comp. That's why I said I would play it a little safer, because I think that their dynamic is something special, and it really means something, and it resonates with people. And that doesn't mean necessarily Abby's going to be loved in the end of the last 25% of the game that I made here, but maybe it softens the blow a little bit. But again, that's not their intent. They want you shock value.
No. Well, not shock value. They want to see if they can take a character that you hate,
and you can make it like 100%.
And in your game, you're doing the opposite route. You're saying, can I take a character that you probably like because she's with Ellie and they're going to establish a rapport, and you're probably going to like her? Can I get you to hate her right away?
Yeah. I think that then you have your revenge story in part.
So then you're doing the same story, just coming at it different ways.
Different angle,
And Joel lives a little longer. Is what you're doing. So, and I'm
saying Joel doesn't need to have a hero death. Like he doesn't need to have no. He can brutally fucking get murdered. Like, but I think it would work a little bit better. But again, that's not what they wanted to say. That's not what they wanted to tell. They wanted to tell you like revenge is bad. And again, I get that message, but I think you learn it painfully too early. And I think
you learn it. That's part of it. I don't think that's the main theme of the game.
Yeah.
I do think, and what doesn't work, and why this game is shitted on so much is they didn't turn a lot of people to Abby.
They failed at that, I think.
They did their job at making you hate her, which I think was the easiest part. I mean, the easiest way to get you to hate a character, right? You either kill Joel or you kill Ellie. Simple. Joel, yeah. 100% simple. It's some people were able to get over it and end up sympathizing with Abby, empathizing with her at the end, because, like you said, she is similar to Ellie. There are, why are Joel's actions justified in the first game, but Abby's aren't? But what it's different is we liked Joel right away. Mm-hmm. We got to play as Joel, and you're in a bubble with Joel, so you get where
you're only seeing his side of the story. Yes.
Yeah. So,
like I said, it's a risky ass move, and I give him a lot of credit. I gotta commend him for it. Like, I would not have the balls to do it.
And I get 100% where the criticism comes from, because it is hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only one game, but it is so hard.
The thing is, it's sad to say this, but we still have this one. You still have the one you love that you can play. And
I think the opposite of you. I think as time goes on, this game is going to be received better. It's going to soften. It's going to soften the blow. Where someday, hopefully, there's never a part 3. I know you're going to get to it, but I'll help you segue. So if there is ever a part 3, you're going to play these 2 games back to back into 3. I think if anything, they should do a
DLC.
They either do a DLC, which she's already said they're not going to do, or you make a
that
small
could be
15...
bullshit though, because you know what I would like is Tommy's DLC. He talks about going to Wyoming and all that, or Iowa or something.
I'd like to see maybe a prequel to a buddy cop kind of Tommy and Joel as hunters, where you kind of do that, where you do a DLC like that, where you still get your Joel. You get this story, but you can get your Joel. There's also rumors of online factions coming back or something like that.
I would still have this game installed if it had multiplayer, because I love the gameplay so much in this game. And it's rare that you hear me say that.
And there's rumors that are out there that this game is going to have multiplayer.
Yeah, they talked about it. I hope they do.
Yeah.
I hope it does.
But
go ahead.
I'm with you though. As soon as I platinum it, I'm gonna uninstall it. But I like this conversation. I like that. Mm-hmm. I know we're related, but I think the world needs more of this, where 2 people can disagree, and we're not constantly shitting at each other, calling each other stupid.
Oh, I will. Next Twitch stream, you will be berated.
It's a just to be serious for a second. It's the world is a really shitty place right now with everything, and to just go on Twitter or Facebook or anything to be criticized or haters, and for everything anybody says,
smash the hell out of the like button, please. Let's not make this the most disliked video.
Yeah,
I hope we can just be civil about stuff.
This video is going to be fine, I think, because we're 2 different opinions. Yeah. So I think we did a great job. I think that this game is going to be... I don't even know if they're going to call it a video game anymore, because this is going to be like an art piece that they talk about it in colleges, like they do with Last of Us already.
Yeah.
Because they do have that, what do you do at the end kind of thing.
It's okay to disagree. Joel, no, it's not. You're on my side, and that's it.
Yeah, we're going to start doing Team JJ versus Team Levi.
Choose one. Golden God or
they're,
White Assassin.
There can only be one.
I agree with you over time. I think it already has shown a little bit. The blow has softened a little bit. I just think most people are just going to meet in the middle and just be like, this is not the greatest thing ever, but I'm okay with it. It deserves to exist.
I don't think it's a masterpiece. I don't think it's the greatest.
Well, you gave it a high rating. I want to know why it's only a 9.5 for you. Why is this not a 10?
Because I do think that they could have fleshed out Dina more to make... Like, I did care about her. Like, I was bummed out. When Ellie held the knife to Lev, I was bummed out. I liked Lev a lot. I didn't want anything to happen to Lev. But there are things about this game that I didn't like. I didn't like that... the gameplay is fantastic. 100% best Naughty Dog game. You're playing a Naughty Dog game the way the gameplay is, though. It is 100% their bread and butter.
Yeah, but it's such a perfect evolution of part one.
It's how you play.
The prone changes everything, man.
But it's how you play a Naughty Dog game. It's how you play an Uncharted. It's how you play. But that being said, Naughty Dog games are fantastic. They're all technically sound. They're all really good.
Thank you, Joel.
But I don't think it's, like you said, God of War is better. Red Dead 2 is better.
Persona 5 Royal, I think, is way better.
I don't think it's way better.
Story-wise, I think.
I think they're here.
Yeah.
I think they're right here. I think
for you, because you gave it 1 a 10, you gave it 9.5.
Well, no, I still think I as a video game, I like this one better.
Yeah.
I like Last of Us better because the gameplay is better.
Yeah.
But again, it's a game. Persona 5, if you didn't buy that game, I wouldn't have played it.
Yeah.
So it was pleasant. It was a very good surprise for me how much I liked it.
Yeah. I forgot to mention, because we didn't cover a lot in our Persona 5 Royal spoiler cast, because we did 2 hours, but we didn't cover everything. And we couldn't. We'd be there forever. But for me, the gameplay, I don't feel that way. I had a lot of gameplay. The reason why is I would stack my memento requests. I would have like 10 to 12 before I actually went to mementos, and then just do them all. And I had it aligned. That's how I was able to max out all the confidants, because I would have it aligned where I have their requests for like 7 or 8 where they needed help on that. Again, go check out that Spoilercast. Shout out to Chad for helping us out.
To me though, mementos was my least favorite part of that game. I hated them. I'd get bored. Maze. I'd get 100% bored. I like that the video games keep getting better, and they're, Last of Us. We'll see what Cyberpunk does and Ghost of Tsushima.
Cyberpunk makes it. I'm not
a game no one's talking about.
Huh?
A game no one's talking about that is a dark horse for Game of the Year is Doom Eternal.
Yes, Doom Eternal.
And it's a game I haven't played yet. I'm hoping to play it before the Game of the Year.
We'll talk about Part 3 in a second, because I agree with you. There shouldn't be a Part 3 in it of the game, but I will. You guys know me since the beginning. I said it every single podcast. Persona 5 Royal will be my game of the year still. Nothing will change it. Not Ghosts, not this game, nothing. Cyberpunk. It's just they took the perfect JRPG, in my opinion, the greatest of all time, the GOAT JRPG of all time, Persona 5. Now I'm wrong, because Persona 5 Royal is the GOAT JRPG. It surpassed it evolved. They made something that was so damn good already, I thought was perfect, pretty much. And they already made it better. And that's why it will never... I can't just gush about... I know I bring it up all the fucking podcasts. I gush about Persona all the time. But in a day and age where JRPGs are few and far between, and Final Fantasy is kind of doing its own thing now, it's not what it used to be. Turn-based JRPGs are really refreshing to me still. And the fact that Persona is not afraid to do dark stuff and still... push boundaries and still make likable characters, and then make awesome bosses and terrible things and keep you invested for 100+ hours I think it's commendable.
It's I'll say that the story in it is fantastic enough where I hate turn based. I hate it. I'll never like it. It's to me it's bullshit. But the story is so good it keeps you going. It just keeps you going. And you can't say that for a lot. I didn't want to play Final Fantasy VII, to be honest with you. It's a great game. I didn't want to play it. I didn't want to finish it, but I do it for the podcast and whatnot. So that I think you're right. Persona 5 is a special game. It truly is.
It is. It's up there. It won't be nominated for Game of the Year though, but it will be mine for sure. And
it has to be.
I don't need my opinion validated. I already know it's great. It's the best game this year. Get out of here. Get out of here with that nonsense. Let's talk about why you don't want a part 3. What is going on?
The same reason I didn't want a part 2, man. This to me wasn't ever a video game. This was a movie. This was a television series that I got to play through that didn't need to have the story expanded upon.
Well, the thing is, we forgot to talk about the title screen changes. Abby makes it to Catalina Island.
Yes.
So clearly, there might be a part 3. I personally, I'm with you. I think they need to put it down. Move on from this.
It's because like I said, I think history is going to reflect kindly on this as a whole, part 1 and 2. I think this is going to be, in 5 years they're going to talk about this. There's going to be a whole college class dedicated to Last of Us. I think it got to be done. I think the same reason I know Uncharted 4 was one of the better ones, but 3
imagine
wasn't.
If they did that to Nathan Drake, yo.
I like that not everyone got a happy ending, and I think that's the world of The Last of Us. This is, Uncharted.
Last of Us is more grounded, real type.
Yeah.
Where Nathan Drake's literally propelling himself with his farts.
Yeah. It's a cheeky game. They could have. I think they had to make an Uncharted 4 because I didn't think 3 was a great game.
That's the most interesting. That's why I'm replaying 1 because I need to finish Xenoblade Chronicles, but I'm having so much. I have platinum fever. I'm so close to so many platinums, and I'm trying to go through and doing stuff. And I felt like I needed something in between the show to help me with Conquest mode because I just got fucking tired of doing Conquest mode. That I needed. I'm like, let me play Uncharted 1, and because 3 is the only one I hadn't played because my PS3 broke, and I never got to play it. So I'm excited to go to that one and see. And I heard from Lou kind of the same thing. Like the first 7 chapters were kind of boring and kind of do nothing. Then it kind of picks up towards the end of the game. So I'm excited to experience that one. And that was Amy Hennig's last game. And then 4 is, I think 2 and 4 are the best by far. 4 was fantastic. Perfect send-off for Nathan Drake. I don't think they should do a part 3. I'm with JJ. I think, lay this one down. I don't think they necessarily ruined it, but I think they missed the boat a little bit. But again, this is not what they wanted. They wanted to tell a semi-revenge story of kind of getting over it and just moving on from letting go. And I don't think it hits and resonates with people like the first game. I think the first game is a timeless classic and will always be talked about. But JJ might be right. Over time, maybe people soften up a little bit to it. I
think eventually they're going to see it as a whole. There's not going to be this backlash. I think not only the revenge themes, but it was nice to see world building like they did, where your character's actions do have consequences. What you do... Because Joel's not the only person out here that can, Ellie's not the only person who can get revenge. Joel's not the only person. Tommy isn't the only, there's other people out there that, that Joel's, like Ellie says, riding the horse to Dina. Joel's crossed a lot of people.
Yep.
So
and you get that definitely in the first game, for sure. You definitely feel that.
That was the most interesting part to me was that that your character, Joel... One action, saving Ellie was such a big pendulum that set another character in motion. If he doesn't do that, Abby doesn't look like the Hulk. She's probably happy with Owen.
So it's your lock for game of the year, probably, right? I think it is.
It is unless Cyberpunk is eligible, because that game has so much hype, and everyone who's played
for sure.
Everyone who's played the review copy is excited
because of the reason why we bring up the Metascore a lot. It's not because of our opinion; it's the critics' opinion, and they make the vote. We don't make the vote.
Yeah, the critics
vote on stuff. JJ was dying on that Borderlands 3 hill 6 months ago, a little while ago in 2019, but. That was a solid game.
Bugs in that game.
I was just pointing out that it's just way too low for it to get nominated.
It's too many bugs in that game too.
Yeah, it's a really interesting game. It's a very ballsy, bold game to do. I commend Sony and Naughty Dog. Congrats to the Naughty Dog team. I would go a different route. I'd go a different route slightly for sure and change it up a little bit, but it's not meant to be. It's just how I think a lot of people wanted Joel and Ellie to be like Nathan and Elena and have some stories to tell for a little bit more, but it's just not meant to be. Joel's old man Jenkins at this time. Doesn't mean they can't do a prequel or a Lost Legacy type game. It's possible for The Last of Us. They're definitely working on a new IP. Naughty Dog. This is the brilliance of Sony Studio. Again, I don't want to seem like a homer for Sony and stuff like that, but it's some of our favorite titles on this channel. But this is the brilliance of this company, is that every single one of their first-party studios are big enough to do 2 games at the same time. So while this game was being finished up, we already know something about the next Naughty Dog game. We'll see it maybe in a couple years when PS5 is starting to roll here. Very much like how we saw Uncharted 4, and I think 2016? I think we saw Uncharted 4? Or it was announced 2014 or 15, right? Something like that.
I don't even remember.
Something like that. Because PS4 came out 2013, and I think they had a couple trailers of Uncharted 4 a couple years later. So I think that's going to follow the same path. Which means Guerrilla has another game going on. Insomniac is super efficient. They're working on a bunch of games.
Well, they got Miles Morales and Ratchet & Clank coming out this year. And
probably they're working on Spider-Man 2 as we speak probably as well.
Yeah.
And Sony Santa Monica, we don't know. They're definitely working on God of War 2, but are they doing another project again? Are they doing another chance? Probably not. Probably that whole team's on God of War 2. They do such a grill. Are they going to partner up with Kojima again? I think that's what some of Sony's brilliance is. They let the studios take a lot of chances. Go ahead.
Did you see the screenshots of Kojima? He's doing artwork. The art designer of Death Stranding. They're working on art. They're drawing concept art together.
A lot of people think it's part 2. Yeah.
It's a submarine that says Bridges on the side.
Yeah, so a lot of people think it's part 2. I wonder if it would be exclusive again. I'm assuming it would. I don't know.
I don't know if they. That's another game I don't think should have a sequel. But what do I know?
Yeah, it ended pretty damn beautifully too. You're right. Yeah.
I'm not a money making guy. I don't like making money.
Yeah, but I want to thank everybody here for hanging out with us for like 2 hours. I think we talked for 2 hours plus. I want to thank my cousin JJ for his time. Thank you guys for keeping it civil. Make sure to smash the hell out of the like button. Comment down below what you think. I hope eventually you guys will soften up a little bit. I know a lot of you posted that you're not even going to fucking even try it. Give it a shot. If it's free on Plus, you should fucking play it. Because eventually it will be free on Plus.
That's going to be a Plus free game for the PS5.
It will be free on Plus eventually. Probably 3 years from now. 2 to 3 years from now.
It's going to be a remake. The remaster version.
I understand not liking Neil, but don't be sending death threats to him and Laura and Ashley and Troy and all them. It's not their fault, They love these characters more than anyone, so... Yeah. They really do. And again, I think I do have some story problems, and it's kind of baffling to me, but it makes sense for JJ, and he enjoyed it, and I'm glad to hear that, that he really enjoyed it. I'm excited to play... Ghost of Tsushima with JJ. I'll be up there most likely unless our flight gets canceled. I know there's some worry there. There's some concern for sure, but I wanna. I'll bring some of my equipment, and JJ and I will do a live reaction for Ghost of Tsushima because I'll be up there when that game comes out. I'm excited to dive in and play that one, and I hope people like that game for the right reason. I hope people are just not going to be a white knight for that game because you don't like Last of Us Part 2. I don't want to see that user score to be 99 for no fucking reason. You know, and nothing against Sucker Punch in that game because I think that game's going to be really good. And my prediction, I'm going to predict the Metascore right now for Ghost of Tsushima. It's going to be anywhere from an 88 to a 92. That's my prediction.
I was right there with you. I was 88 to 91.
Yeah, that's where I think it's going to be. Again, shout out to my cousin. Thank you so much for all the time. Shout out to the GG Nation, the GG Legion. It's good to see you all. No Twitch stream tonight, obviously. We wasted a lot of time here. Not a waste. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. Hope you guys are part of the conversation. But hey, I've been your fellow Strauss man, the GG. JJ, we're outie.
Peace.